On this channel right here, I've played a bunch of horror games and said a lot of things about them. All right, let's remove the fuse. What are we gonna do? Wait a minute. Haven't we heard this one before? Hi, welcome to the channel. If you're watching this video and you already know who I am, yes, I'm unfortunately not dead. New video summer. Anyway, around 2 years ago, I decided to go onto the website everyone uses when they run out of content to rank almost every single viral indie horror game I've played on this channel, which amounted to
99 indie horror games.
You guys really liked that video, and it's been a while since I've done such a thing, and more horror games have been released since then. So today I will be doing the same, but this time I'll be rating a grand total of 135 indie horror games. And I have to add a big asterisk because I already know some people are going to look at some of the games on the list and be all up in here like,
that's not an indie horror game.
Shut up. This video took ages to edit and is definitely a real long one. I mean, look at the video player. This is no joke. So, I hope you don't mind if I, a starving artist, ask you to direct your attention to the like button and the subscribe button and press them both. Wait, if you're already subscribed, then that's just gonna unsub you. Wait, cancel that! 5,000 likes and I'll once again let the top comment decide what I do in the future. Don't make me regret it. If you disagree with my placements, leave a comment down below. I wanna see arguments that I will never read. Anyway, that's enough from me. Get cozy, because this one's a doozy. What we're doing today is located all over the next screen, and on the next screen is something that I haven't done in a very, very long time. I think it's been a couple of years, if not just under 2 years, and because I haven't done it in a while, I felt like it's due an update, and that's what we're going to be doing today. And located on the very next screen is 99 plus indie horror game tier list. We are doing it again. Yes, so as you can see, we have a grand total of 135 indie horror games that I have played over the years, either on T9 or on Theft VODs, or I've talked about on the main channel. You guys can see some familiar faces from the last time we did this, and you can also see some brand new games that I've added to the list in the past couple of days. And by the past couple of days, I mean today, because I decided to go and look back at the content that I uploaded on the second channel and on the VODs, and I realized I've played a lot of games since the last time I've done this tier list. So it'll be really interesting to see whether my opinions would change over time, or if I have the same sort of opinions as last time. For those of you guys who are watching on the second channel, I have indeed done this before, obviously, and if you want to watch the last time in which I did a tier list, it will be linked in the description. It will show up on the top right corner, and I'm going to make my editor drag in the thumbnail really slowly from the other side of this screen. Yeah. You can go watch the video if you want to. Anyway, editor, push the thumbnail away. So we've got 99 plus indie horror games to go through. This is going to take a while, so get comfortable. I don't know when this video is gonna come. Oh no, don't scare me now! Don't scare me now. I'm not ready. But anyway, let's just quickly go get a really long music mix while we're at it. Let me just make sure I've got the calm soundtrack going. There we go. Yeah. This is going to take some time, so lights out and away we go. Beginning with A Dark Place. A Dark Place is kind of interesting because I think you'll notice in this video I might be regurgitating the same opinions as before, but believe me, a lot of the times they haven't changed. But A Dark Place was really interesting because I think out of all the games that I've played, especially in the meta horror genre, I think A Dark Place is up there with the most intensive. You're essentially downloading a virus to your PC. When I played A Dark Place, that was with the really old hack model, and I remember playing that game and I realized that I made an extremely good call pre-recording that game, because the kind of stuff it does to your PC is something that I definitely could not stream, because it essentially is a virus on your PC. It does typical things that a virus does, like it changes your desktop background. I think one of the payloads it puts on your PC is one that melts your desktop. Imagine if it melted your PC. It doesn't do that, but it melts your desktop. It opens programs. It takes control of your mouse. It does a lot of things things. But the thing is that a lot of the really cool stuff that it did in the game was in service of a really mid story. The definition of mid. The issue that I had with the game was that there wasn't much to do in the game. From what I remember, there was a lot of really long corridors and a lot of really generic boxed in world design. Like the way it worked was that it had several sections where you're like, oh, this is interesting, but a lot of the time you just get really bored. I think in the T9 video, I ended up cutting a lot of just walking around and doing nothing because the game kind of boiled down to just walking from one place to another, and then you're gonna get a random payload loaded onto your PC like, oh my god, we have a virus now. The payload's messing up my PC. Like, I'm not gonna discount the fact that it did the meta horror stuff really well, but it was basically just few and far between a lot of scenes in the game where it was like, I think it could have been better. I really think it could have been better, but the meta horror stuff, to this day, I still think it's one of the best applications of it. So I'm going to put this in B. I think that's what I put in last time. It's not great. It's not terrible. I feel like the ending as well, being really rushed, also puts the game down a tiny bit, but it's a really good demonstration of coding. Like, I believe the game even does stuff like it opens your disk drive, and if you have the non-stream friendly version, it straight up turns off your PC. Imagine playing the game, you're trying to record it for like a video, and you forget to get the right version, and then you're about to play it, and then it says PC shutting down, and you're like, oh. Anyway, the next game on our list is Amanda the Adventurer and Amanda the Adventurer 2. I'm going to do both of these as one entity, but I do have some takes about both of these games. And do you know what? I'm going to still remain an Amanda the Adventurer defender. I think Amanda the Adventurer is a really good escape room game. A lot of people at the time of release were slagging off the game because they were like, oh, this is just like those there's game theory mascot horror games that people play all the time and make game theory bait stuff. I hope Matt Pat will get a kick out of this one. But the thing is like, a lot of the people that are slagging off the game weren't really there for the development of it. We all saw together the development of the game, from a game jam entry to a full-blown commercially released horror game. And the thing is, a lot of people are saying, oh, but the game's not scary. It's like, what, is the game supposed to like make you shit your pants all the time while you're playing it? Like, I feel like the first couple of demos of Amanda the Adventurer, I remember I was a bit like, I liked the concept. The concept has always been good. It's basically like Dora the Explorer, but it's taken to another level, because I think that having it so that Amanda gets more snarky or something else happens if you choose the wrong answers, it's kind of like how older people watching Dora the Explorer will purposely guess a wrong answer, and because it's pre-recorded and Dora can't actually hear you, the show goes on as normal. But in this game, since you can actually type in the answers to each of the questions that Amanda asks you, or even Wooly asks you, it adds another layer of interactivity. And I also appreciated that after the game jam entries, which had like a really scuffed ending of just, you know, the monster appeared, the actual full release of the game actually had a decent story bundled with it. And also, it felt like an escape room. I really liked the fact that most of the game was set in that attic, and different things happened once you finish watching a tape. Like, the tape just dispenses like a random thing on the table that was relevant to the part of the game that you were on. I thought that was pretty good, but that's my personal opinion. I thought that was an interesting way to go about it. And I know a lot of people are saying like, oh, what about the ending being sequel bait? But that's only sequel bait if you decided to go and get every single tape in the game. And even then, it wasn't much. It was just someone showing up. So I don't know about you guys, but I enjoyed Amanda the Adventurer, and I think it's a fine game. And I'm actually going to put Amanda the Adventurer in A. Now, with the sequel though, I do have some opinions about the sequel. This is the rare case where I liked the serial escalation, but at the same time, I don't think the second game was as tightly knit as the first. I understood what they were trying to go for with having a bigger space to work with in the library, but when you have to patch the game because a lot of people found the first puzzle in the entire game difficult. I mean, the thing, I wouldn't say it's was super difficult. But the fact that I had to go out of my way at one part of the game to like look for a guide because one of the solutions was just so out there that you wouldn't even think to even attempt it. I feel like in their quest to try and make the game a little more challenging and make the stakes a bit higher, I feel like the second game kind of fell a little bit short with regards to a lot of the puzzles. Was it just me, or did it feel like the second one felt more like a bridge to the third? I'm not sure, chat. I feel like the second game felt more like a bridge to the third. You could play the first game on its own as a complete experience, and with the exception of even the true ending didn't need to add much stuff. It kind of just felt like the second game was like both endings, while they were really well acted, it kind of sucked that the second game felt like a build up to the third that's not out yet. Like both one of the endings was like, oh, one of the endings is like, the monster catches up with you, and then the other ending is like, the monster catches up with you, but there's something more at the end. I don't know. I get what they're going with it, but I really hope that it doesn't fall into the same trap a lot of these mascot horror games fall into, where it's like, oh no, the stakes are really high. It's a world-ending threat, or it's like an abomination is after the family and we have to stop it by uncovering a huge conspiracy. To both games' credit though, I will say the acting is still incredibly well done in both games. Amanda's VA, Wooly's VA, and even the IRL segments. I really like the IRL segments. It brings more life into the game that a lot of other games just don't do. Like the acting was genuinely good. That's the one thing I really like in the secret tapes, when you get to the IRL segments, you think that the IRL segments would be like porn level acting where it's just like, oh my God, Amanda is gone, that kind of stuff. You'd think that it would be a bit silly, right? But the IRL segments kind of gave the game a bit more sauce, if you catch my drift. But I don't think the second game is as well done as the first. You can't play the second game in a vacuum like you can with the first. And because of that, I'm going to put that on B. I think that's a high B, low A. Okay, let's be so serious here. Need I say more? The only thing I will say to Amnesia's detriment is that Amnesia was too good. The Dark Descent, in my opinion, was too good because it kind of popularized the whole walking simulator thing. Did you play the other Amnesia games? Yes. In fact, on stream, I played The Bunker and I've played A Machine for Pigs, but I have not played that on stream. Maybe I should replay it and see if it's any good. I feel like Amnesia and its consequences have been a disaster for indie horror games, because I feel like the tropes that people took from Amnesia was like, you're defenseless and you're walking everywhere and you're reading notes. A lot of people, they took the wrong lessons from the game and decided that, hey, boring walking simulators where literally nothing happens but you get chased by a ghost. Amnesia's a good game on its own. I just feel like its influence on the indie horror sphere, it can't be discounted. It was kind of rough. Thav, out of curiosity, which indie horror game do you think did the most damage to the genre? FNAF. Five Nights at Freddy's. Scott Cawthon definitely did the most damage. There's no contest. Everyone says Slender, FNAF did it. That's like, I don't think you understand. Even for good and for bad, there is no denying. We are still reeling from the effects of FNAF and its storytelling. I think gameplay-wise, we've all moved on from the FNAF thing of just clicking and looking at cameras and stuff. But I feel like FNAF's lack of storytelling, we are still reeling from the consequences of FNAF being such a big game that people are invested in a story that doesn't even make any sense, that other people are getting the wrong lessons from that as well, where it's like marketable mascot, nonsensical story that we just made it up as we went along. Profit. So I feel like for better and for worse, FNAF definitely has done the most influence or damage to the indie horror sphere. Anyway, did my dumbass really forget to add Amnesia the Bunker to the tier list? Oh, God damn it. I'll just, you know what? I'll do that in post. Editor. Once this is done, we'll add it in post. Anyway, Andy's Apfel Farm. Now, Andy's Apple Farm. It was the definition of meh. I don't know about it. If you guys want to also do this tier list yourself, this tier list is public. So if you want to make your own tier list, if you want to do it yourself, who are watching this on the second channel on the VODs, I will link the tier list in the description if you want to do it yourself. But anyway, Andy's Apple Farm. Now, the thing about Andy's Apple Farm is that I didn't like the way the story really went in that game. Like, it started all right. I kind of like the whole concept of, it's like Ben Drowned. You're playing a game, someone else has already played it, and there's something wrong with this game. In fact, all of the NPCs are acting a little bit weird. Like, the NPCs, you start as Andy, and Andy meets all of his friends, and the very first thing that they say to him is that, oh yeah, we took the keys to your house. At that point, are they really friends though? So let's be so real. Are they really friends? If they say, oh yeah, if you want to get the bonus stickers, we stole the key to your house. You left the house and we stole the keys. You can't go back unless you play games with us. Then there'd be a lot of violence. Then give me the keys. Those are my keys. And the thing is, Andy just kind of stands there and takes it. The only problem that I had with the game is that it went out of its way to go through the whole, oh no, a demon put Andy and co in the game. It didn't really feel like there was much. I really didn't like the fact that it went for the whole, so you made a deal with the devil and now you are in the game and you are Andy and all of the other NPCs are people that you have interacted with before. Your kids have died and you're blaming the other NPC who was one of your friends and you kill them in cold blood? No! I didn't really rate that part of the story. And some of the scares were just like, you know, loud noises and scuffed audio. I feel like it was also a bit anachronistic as well. Like, it's meant to be set in like the 80s, but the game looks incredible for a 1980s or so released game. I don't know. Maybe it will be better in the next chapter. And also, Rabbit Knight was really good from the same dev. Like, Rabbit Knight's really good. That game's really unforgiving, but that was interesting. But I think with Andy's Apple Farm, I'm not too sure. I think I'm probably going to give this one a D. I'm gonna put this one on D. Anyway, Anne is a classic. Anne is very much a love letter to RPG Maker horror games. That game was really fun. The thing about Anne was that it was like a cross between a lot of RPG Maker horror games like Misao, Corpse Party, Ebe. It had something for literally everyone, and it even had like fully animated cutscenes as well for an RPG Maker horror game. And I feel like that one's just a decent all-rounder. Like, it was a nice love letter to RPG Maker horror games. It even had the moments where it pulls at your heartstrings, the twist endings, the chases. I actually appreciated that. Very few RPG Maker games have actually difficult chases. I can count on one hand how many RPG Maker games that I've played that I've had decent, intense chases. I think Anne is one of them, because there was one point where you're running away from a mannequin, and towards the end of the chase, the mannequin goes at like Mach 10 towards you, and you have to have really quick reaction times. But yeah, I really liked it. Wrong has done no wrong with the game, and I will put Anne in. I don't think I'm changing my opinion on this. I think Anne goes on A. All right, now, Oni. Hey, yo, Oni. Oh, gosh. This one's going to be original or remake. We're going to talk about it as a franchise, but with the context of the tier list, we're talking about the original game. Now, a bit of lore about the game. The version that everyone knows and loves, and the one that most YouTubers played, I believe is version 6. I think it's 6.2. Let me make sure with you guys. Yeah, version 6.23 is the version of Oni that everyone played. There are several versions of Oni. In fact, I think one of the previous version of Oni, that one was nigh impossible to play in the West unless you had a guide, because I believe, if I recall correctly, there was a puzzle in the game that was impossible if you didn't speak Japanese. It was like a very local puzzle, and it was like, you would be completely stuck if you weren't Japanese. The original game was decent. I feel like it did the whole RPG Maker puzzle game really well. Like, the whole point of Oni, you're playing as Hiroshi, or as I like to call him, Goose. And as you're playing out Oni, there's several puzzles that they're not really like, oh, super difficult puzzles, but they do at least make you work for the answer. Looking through prison bars at the right angle to get a code that you need to unlock a safe with. I liked some of the twists in the game when Takuro joins your party towards the end of the game, and near the last segment of the game, the menu switches Takuro into the Oni version. I thought that was a really, really good way to reveal it. Even though it was kind of obvious and telegraphed, like Hiroshi being like the complete brick wall that he is, like if something scary happens, he's just like, I can't believe such a scary thing actually exists. Like, oh my God. I feel like Ao Oni itself was a decent horror game. I actually also really liked how Hiroshi ended up being the only survivor. I think that there are other versions of the game where other people survive. I think version 5, everyone survives, but then the game ends with a new group entering that mansion. At that point though, who's paying the mortgage for that mansion? Like, as no one really thought about the fact that who's paying that mortgage? How has no one gone? Is it abandoned? They're like, oh yeah, it's an abandoned mansion. How's no one gonna knock it down? How many times have people gone missing in that mansion before authorities are like, maybe we should check if something is up? But the thing about Ao Oni is that while the original game is decent, what it turned into is nothing short of slop. It's like Ao Oni as a franchise is the definition of sludge. I don't know how else to describe it. I really don't know how else to describe it. How is it possible that literally everything, and I mean everything, after the original game is a steaming pile of dog ass, even down to the remake of the game on Steam? Like, they even had one job: remake the original game. Don't change anything, just make it look nicer. And they somehow made it worse. They made a game from 2007 worse in current year. And then they had like the mobile game. In fact, let me go get it. Ao Oni mobile. There's an Ao Oni battle royale game. There's a what? Yes, there's an Ao Oni battle royale. I'm trying to find it. Let me go find it. Ao Oni. All right, found it. I found a gameplay of it with like 630 views. Wait, let me go. All right, let me go. How does this even work? Wait, let me see if there's commentary on this. How does this even work? All right, let me go see this. Downloading data. Oh my God, you have to download the data. All right, where's the gameplay? Oh my God, there's like a login button. Oh my God. Wait, what? No. Hold on. An online survival game where 100 player play as one of the 100 participants. 100? The last player standing is the winner. Wait, 100? 100. Imagine the logistics of organizing a 100-person battle royale in the abandoned mansion. They're just like, hey, step right up, come into the abandoned mansion. We will be doing a battle royale. All right, it actually is battle royale. Why is it even called Ao Oni when he isn't even blue? He's purple. But that's the thing though. Every description of the game describes the Ao Oni as blueberry colored, like blueberry colored demon. I think the death screen in the Ao Oni remake literally called it the blueberry giant. What? All right, let's see. I want to see some gameplay. Wait, there's skins. Wait, there's skins. Roll the gacha with blue coins. Oh no, wait, get some gameplay. All right, there's ads and everything. He hasn't even gone to the gameplay yet. There's so many microtransactions. There's so many. All right, hold on. Let's see if there's actual gameplay. Let's see this. All right, wait, what? What? No way. No way, there's like 100 of them. And there's people in chat. You know what? Honestly, I can't lie. If this was polished, this is a fire idea. Wait, hold on. I'm actually interested to see how this works. Oh, wait, is it our only control? Is he dead? He just died instantly. What? Play that again? What happened? Oh, so someone plays as the Oni and okay, well, yeah, that is the state of the franchise. How hot would this make your phone? The lag must have been so bad. It's the kind of stuff where you just have your phone out and it just explodes in your hand and what's left is a stump where your hand used to be. Anyway, so I guess that is what our Oni's like now. But for the original game is decent. I feel like the franchise wouldn't be this big if the original game was that shit, right? I don't know, it was very influential, and also in a vacuum, it's all right. I I genuinely think it's a decent RPG Maker horror game, so I'm going to put Ao Oni in I think that's decent. All right, At Dead of Night. Now, At Dead of Night is an interesting one. I need to replay that game because I tried to stream it, but I think at the time, but my head wasn't in the game at the time. I've seen gameplay of it, and I thought it was interesting. I definitely think At Dead of Night, I would have to do another playthrough where I'm locked in, because I feel like with At Dead of Night, when I played it, I enjoyed a bit of it, but like, I don't think my head was in the game. But it was a really cool mechanic. I did like At Dead of Night is one of those FMV type games. Like, you guys remember Hotel 626? How many of you remember that game? Hotel 626. It actually took me until like 3 years ago to realize that Hotel 626 was just a tie-in thing by Doritos. Wait, you guys don't know about Hotel 626? And that used to be all the rage back in the day. Whoa, okay, now I need to give you some lore. Notice that the very first result is a PewDiePie video, and apparently it's lost media. Apparently the game itself is lost media, but this game right there, Asylum 626, I'm surprised you guys didn't remember this. Remember this jump scare? Everyone made reactions to this jump scare. Did anyone, like, even looking at it right now, it looks really goofy, but like, damn, like, damn, old PewDiePie videos. Look how many views does this have? 6 million. Damn. It's actually crazy that this game was literally created with the sole intention to have you buy Doritos. And yes, it was a browser game. Like, when you signed in, it did this. When you went to Asylum 626 or Hotel, you can either do both of them. When you sign in, it did this.
Oh, there. Ugh.
And I remember they had a webcam and mic system. And also, I believe they ask you for your phone number, because when they ask you for your phone number, after the events of the game, I believe you get called on your phone by this game. Didn't it fuck with your account? No, it didn't. It called you after the events of the game and did some like demonic stuff on the telephone. But yeah, I remember at the time, everyone was looking at this and said, oh my God, this game is so realistic. Oh my God, look at the graphics of this game. It's so realistic. To be fair, at the time, this was 13 years ago. Wow. Oh no. 13 years ago. God, no, it's Uncle Sam getting older. Oh no. Oh my God. Someone did make a video about it, but yeah, it was literally just.
The graphics are amazing.
Yeah, even like Peter was like, oh, the graphics are really, really good. Now let's go to like the most replayed part.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was that trope in every single horror game ever. It's always that same trope. All right, when does the jump scare happen?
Show me your face.
And then.
Whoa.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. We had it. We were so naive back then. There was another scare. Like.
Nope. Oh, oh. Oh!
Oh, not gonna lie, the graphics still look kind of good. Come on, buddy. Ah, gosh, old PewDiePie. Anyway, At Dead of Night is of a similar genre. And the thing is, with my experience of the game, my head wasn't in the game, but I have seen gameplay. I've seen Corey play a bit of it. I've seen John play a bit of it. I've seen Markiplier play a bit of it. And from what I've seen, it's a really inventive way of utilizing the FMV style. So At Dead of Night, I'm gonna say it, I think this one goes an S. I feel like it's the perfect way of applying the FMV style. And it also was, from what I've seen, pretty damn scary. Now, I need to reserve my own judgment for experiencing the game fully locked in, but I genuinely think At Dead of Night is 100% is like a S tier playthrough. I liked the story bit. I really liked the setup, and I think a lot of people might rag on the game a bit because the game is pretty difficult, but I think it's the intensity of the game. It's genuinely skin crawling. I think it was an interesting game. Also, I can't shake off the fact that he looks like a Jack Manifold. Jack Manifold with a huge forehead. Like Jack Manifold and Megamind mixed together. Like, I can't be the only person that, when I was playing it, I looked at him and I genuinely thought for one split second, holy shit, it's Jack Manifold. What's the diff? There's not. Okay, well, there's no need for that, is there? I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but like, Jack also has like a 5. Jack, if you ever see this, I'm sorry, but the comparisons, in fact, you know what? Let me go and see if I can get a comparison. You know what? I'm getting a comparison in right now, right this instant. I mean, Jack is bald. It's like a mix between Jack Manifold and Germa. So basically, we look at this and then we look at this, right? It's basically like an older... I feel like this is Jack's calling. He has to play this game. Wait, has Jack played this game? I don't think so. I gotta DM him. Post it on Twitter. You guys post it on Twitter. In fact, you know what? I'm just gonna... I did a night. S, that one is 100%.
My sub expired LOL big forehead.
All right, I think there's a better shot in the game for sure. I was like, that's Jack. Anyway, Escape the Are You Okay? That one was just, oh. I mean, I liked the gimmick of the fact that it uses your microphone and the Are You Okay looks for you based on whether you make noise or not. But like, I remember when I played it, it was really bad and it was really buggy. And apparently it's one of the examples of the game getting worse with every update. Yeah, that's an E. That's 100% an E. Baldi's Basics in education and learning. Now that my main channel video is out, you guys now see where I'm at of this game. No, I'm going to be controversial about this one. I'm putting this on S. Now, hear me out. Actually, hear me out. Yeah, everyone's going to be like biased, but like try and explain to me why the game is bad. I think from a game jam entry to what Baldi's Basics is now, there is no shot that people who are talking about Baldi's Basics are talking about it other than like, oh my god, it's the YouTube slop, the YouTube kid stuff. A lot of people haven't played the game past the game jam version. I think that Baldi's Basics is a really good evolution of the slender mechanic of collecting pages, because it's not just walk around and collect pages. It's like you have the notebooks where they have the maths questions, so you still have to get them right. And also it works as a parody game. It's a really good parody game in which like, oh, you think it's going to be edutainment game. It knows what it is. It's not trying to be like, oh yeah, there's secret lore in the game. The only lore stuff that they even bothered adding was a goofy story just for Classic Remastered. And that was the only thing that they added with regards to story. And even Mr. Man 12 he himself said, he literally said, oh yeah, this is a story I made. It was a goofy story. I don't want anything overly game theory based and stuff. It's such an insanely replayable game. You've seen me play Baldi's Basics Plus a lot, and it operates as a roguelike. I strongly implore anyone who hasn't taken a look at Baldi's Basics in a while to please play Baldi's Basics Plus. Genuinely, looking at the progression of Baldi's Basics from the game jam entry with the lack of textures on all the tables and all the other stuff, it was basically submitted less than 30 minutes before the end of the game jam. And seeing what it's turned into, I can't lie, fellas, I genuinely think Baldi's Basics is the best example of what to do with your game when it hits it big. Don't overstay its welcome. All Mr. Man 12 did was the birthday bash, then got to work on Baldi's Basics Plus, then even had a complete experience with Classic Remastered, then went back to update Baldi's Basics Plus, and he's still updating it to this day with more stuff. So, I mean, if you guys want to see my full opinion on the game and a retrospective, I suggest you watch the main channel video. There is a main channel video of Baldi's Basics available for your viewing enjoyment. And as of this stream, I believe it's about to hit 1 million views. Let me go and check on the video right now. The video is, oh my god, yeah, that's really close. Hello, that's really close. That's 997. It could hit 1 million ruler slaps before my birthday. That is dangerously close, super close, if you will. Road to 1 million views. Baldi's Basics for me, I'm not gonna lie, that is remaining S for sure. Bendy and the Bonnie's Bakery. Bonnie's Bakery was, I actually kind of liked it. I think the twist did the twist of I guess a cute mascot, but like it didn't overstay its welcome with the scares. They didn't go out of their way to make it like, oh no, Bonnie is this one scary character with a lot of baggage. They're this one super evil thing that is like controlled by the masses. They literally went out of their way to make Bonnie into like a serial killer, but they kept the art style of the game really consistent, which I found really interesting. Like it starts with what you think is going to be a typical cutesy restaurant type game where you need to make a bunch of cakes for the populace. Then it just turns into, oh, so we're a serial killer. That's not exactly, it's not great. I will say though, to discredit the game a little, once it gets to that point where you're in the dungeon, I feel like the game kind of it grinds to a halt. Like when you're in the dungeon and you know about Bonnie's true nature, it then just gets to like, oh yeah, collect pages and hope that Bonnie doesn't see you. And that's pretty much it. Although I did like added story stuff that they did, like the other endings where you actually play as Bonnie. I thought that was an interesting addition to the story. I thought that Bonnie's Bakery was an interesting little game, kind of underrated, but I feel like it kind of felt like a bunch of nothing after the fact where you get sent to the dungeon. So I'm going to go and put this one on, I think it's the definition of middle of the ground. High C, low B. Actually, no, I'll put it on B because I don't think it's like, I'm not knocking it down to on C. Low B seems fair. You need to play Bendy in the Dark Revival. It's actually good. Gonna need a few more zeros than that before I consider playing it. Body Simulator 1984. This one actually is the definition of hidden gem. I think this one's a hidden gem. I loved this game. I really, really enjoyed this game, actually. I really like the writing of Body Simulator 1984. I like the different genres that the game goes throughout the duration of the game. I really, really liked the way it starts from a text game where you're basically it's basically like a programming game where you give the game commands and then it's a story that your buddy makes for you. Then it goes into like a 2D RPG without color. Then it adds color, and then it goes 3D and adds fights. And then towards the end of the game, it goes to first person. The progression of dimensions that the game went through as the buddy learned more about you. And with my characters, obviously, it's going to resonate with me a lot more because it's the kind of stuff that I've written for my characters. It's so Ware-core, isn't it? Yeah, Ware lost their mind. Ware lost their goddamn mind. I also do appreciate that everything that you wrote at the very start of the game comes back later in terms of like characters that are made, like the mayor and the pets and everything. I do like games that do that, like things that you absentmindedly enter at the very beginning of the game come back later as a plot point. I think that's an interesting way to go about it. And I really don't have any issues with Body Simulator 1984. I think the only thing I would have is the length, but I feel like the game was paced pretty well. And I did like the constant sanity slippage of the buddy themselves. I feel like this game is pretty underrated and I don't see any flaws with this game. So I'm gonna be nice. I think it's gonna be a high A, low S. I think I'm gonna put this on S unless I change my mind and move it down based on the other games that are on the list. Bunker 16. Bunker 16 is I think Bunker 16 is a certified classic. However, it has quite a fair few flaws about it. Bunker 16 very much is a product of its time. I like the way the game got more claustrophobic as it continued. The walls got narrower and the main character started going a little more crazy because the isolation started to get to him. I appreciated that. I just feel like a lot of the game's content can be boiled down to just walking around until you go crazy. Like, I really liked how the bunker itself felt like an eldritch location where it couldn't be really comprehended. It felt like there was corridors going everywhere. Although I didn't appreciate the fact that, I mean, I guess you're supposed to like save your flashlight usage, but I didn't realize that the game had an option to run out of flashlight, meaning that you won't be able to see absolutely anything in the bunker towards the end. Like that was, oh my God, that right there, that's hell. Imagine being stuck in a pitch black bunker. There's nothing technically there, but there could be. That's hell. Don't you have the noisy light for that game? I think you might be mistaken that with Amnesia the Bunker. Bunker 16 is different. All you get's like a really shitty light, and you can reroute the power of the bunker to different locations. But god damn, that was horror, actual horror. But I will say it's a product of its time. It's not amazing, but it's not terrible either. So I think I'm probably going to, I don't think I'm going to change my mind from what it was last time. I'm going to put Bunker 16 on Now, The Bunny Graveyard. I like that game. I liked it. I really like the art style. I think I'm very interested to see what they do with the story because The Bunny Graveyard was really interesting. Is the game even complete? Well, the story isn't, but The Bunny Graveyard is technically complete because instead of working on chapter 2, they've decided that The Bunny Graveyard is now a complete experience. And I think they even went back and updated the game to add voice acting, more sprites, more polished animations and stuff like that. So Bunny Graveyard on its own is a complete game, and the story continuation is The Bunny Graveyard 2 instead of chapter 2. They're not making it a DLC. they're making it a full game sequel. So as it stands right now, the Bunny Graveyard is complete, which means that we can talk about it as a whole, and thought it was really interesting. I really like the fact that Sky was not all that she was cracked up to be. Like, I like how it started where you were like, oh yeah, we're gonna help Sky in the farm. And also I kind of liked how all the player characters and all the NPCs, except from Sky and Boxer, were basically just curses. They were mouse curses. I appreciated that each of the characters were essentially just curses within a game, because I believe you're playing a game within a game, and you as the player character break out of the game in a portal, and then it turns out that you find the real Sky in the game's real world. I'm interested to see how the story goes from there, but I really liked the art. The art was really well done, and also I liked each of the characters in the game. The frogs, the helping, what were they called again? It's gonna really annoy me if I can't remember what the curses were actually called, but I do appreciate that all of them had numbers to them, and we already knew that one of the helping hands, there we go, thank you, one of the helping hands died at Sky's hands at the start of the game, and Boxer was like, oh, so one of the helping hands is missing. But yeah, I think Bunny Graveyard had really good art, and I think one problem that I had was some of the checkpoint systems in the game. They're probably ironed out in the update, but I didn't like the checkpoint systems towards the end of the game. Like, they did send you really far back, and I was like, oh no, I have to do that all over again. But anyway, I think Bunny Graveyard, fine game. I'm gonna put this in A. And now we get to the funny ones. Case and Case 2 animatronics survival. I mean, they're not good. In fact, wait. We need to make a new tier for that. Hold on. Add a row below, and we're going to call this one, we're going to call it the Omega Lol tier. It's going to be the Omega Lol tier. Like, it's basically games that are like so bad they're good. Like, genuinely so bad that they wrap around to being funny. The thing about Case and Case 2 animatronic survival is that they are not fun games to play at all. With Case 2 animatronic survival especially, is that someone raised a good point in the latest T9 video where I played Case Records, where you can watch on the second channel, but someone raised a really good point that none of these games have an identity. The Case Animatronics franchise is a byproduct of the developers jumping on bandwagons to see if they can just add their own take to it. Like, Case Animatronics was very much in the whole FNAF kind of craze, having the tablet and having the animatronics chase you around, and I think the crazy part is that the tablet rarely works as well. And then Case 2 animatronic survival, it starts with the chapter based stuff. Like, all these mascot horror games were all going in on the whole chapter based trend, and also they did away with the whole tablet thing, because like, you have the tablet for a few seconds and then it dies, and then when you charge the tablet again, it dies instantly. Like, what was the point of the tablet? Like, I bet they just really realized that, oh no, we have something that we need to tie to the first game. But the tablet didn't even do anything useful. I think we only used the tablet for one scene towards the end of the very first chapter, where you have to like remotely play a song to lead the cat to it. There's no other times in the game where that's useful. But to both the game's credits, the voice acting is, oh my God, that is... All right, if I'm gonna show a Case clip, we have to, and I mean, we 100% have to watch the scene. I've used this scene so many times, because it's just really funny. All right, let's go find the scene. Probably one of the most replayed parts. There it is. It's the most replayed part of the video. Let's look at past me laughing at the game. All right, here we go. Do you surely want to turn the generator? Do you surely want to turn the generator off? All right, let's remove the fuse. What are we gonna do? It's the way it cuts in. Not even just like, ah! It's just like, ah! Oh gosh. I think it also is the reverb that you hear when it just cuts in. It's just like the, ah! All right, I gotta play it one more time. One more time. All right. Oh God, it's like he has a perfectly cut scream but in reverse. Would it have been funnier if it just cut when he screams, just like the ah! And then it just cuts in, game over? Is that a scream or a moan? It was a scone. It was a meme. But yeah, apart from that, the game was just kind of really just bad. I don't know how to really explain it, but like it had a weird kind of just funny bad nature to it. The same thing with like Case animatronics and its goofy voice acting just being like, what happened to the lights? Is this some kind of deja vu? Is this some kind of deja vu? It's like, I don't know. But yeah, I think Case 2 animatronics and Case animatronics go in Omega Lol tier. But I will say about the game is that how is it that Case 2 animatronics and Case animatronics did the whole point of animatronic sound design and movement better than Security Breach did? Like, to Case animatronics' credit, while the animatronic designs were overly edgy, how is it that Case animatronics actually did the whole animatronic thing better than Security Breach did? We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But they sounded like Case and Case 2 animatronic survival, they at least were like big hulking metal things. It's not a high bar, but at least the sound design was just like, it worked. Methinks Case animatronics 3 isn't on here because it goes beyond Omega Lol. When we talk about Case Records, I didn't put Case Records on it because if Case Records was there, Case Records would be about here. Omega Lol tier. Hey! Cat in the Box. Now, that game is definitely up there with one of my favorite RPG maker horror games of all time. So before I even talk about the game, no, I'm sorry guys, it's going S. I do not care. I think Cat in the Box is up there with some of the best RPG maker games have to offer. Now, with Cat in the Box, I think the story hook was really good. YouTuber who's not getting enough views decides against a better judgment to go to a weird mansion where she thinks a cult is residing in for some views and stuff like that. The thing is though, she messed up really bad. Do you know what she should have done? She should have just IRL streamed it. I mean, maybe they mentioned something about Signal, but they should have IRL streamed it. I think FemStation should have just done that because at least the footage would be surviving. And also, if she was to go inside that mansion and then the stream stops, then people would try and attempt to go in and rescue her. And I feel like they had a missed opportunity there. So it's like, why couldn't she have just done that? Is she stupid? I did like the random events that happen if you try and open the game up, like the demonic version of the main character showing up. I really like the whole Schrodinger's cat trope that they essentially based the entire game around. I really like the fact that literally every single character, and I mean every single character and NPC that you meet in the game is you at a random point in time. I think one of the endings that resonated the most with me was the ending where she lengs it out of the mansion and keeps running and ends up falling down the cliff. And that last shot of her body with a lot of like dried up corpses at the bottom of the cliff, that is an insane shot to end the game on. Like, it's one of the many endings of the game, but I think that one, I was just like, Jesus. Because the thing is, you already knew that ending was kind of happening because of how fast she was running down, even though we know the exit to the mansion was like to the side. And also, I appreciated that her fate was sealed the second she entered that building, because you can force her to leave, right? It takes about 20 to 30 attempts at the door, but even if you leave and she goes back outside, it's just endless garden. It's such a good game. And if you haven't played Cat in the Box or you haven't watched the playthrough, I strongly suggest you do so. Definitely one of my favorite RPG maker horror games. He cooked on that one. Anyway, Choo Choo Charles, created by a YouTuber. That game is fun. I think a big thing about horror games for me is if the horror game is fun, I'm going to have a much better time playing through the game. I loved that game mechanic. It was so inventive. It was such a simple mechanic where you have your own rinky-dink-ass train that goes along a track, and you have different NPCs that you can meet to do a job, and sometimes Charles will arrive and attack your train. I don't know. I thought it was really good. It was a really inventive mechanic. Obviously, you had some of the indie game Unreal Engine jank, but I think that the game was interesting enough to kind of carry that mechanic all the way. And also, yeah, you can customize your train as well. And also, it's even more difficult on stuff like hardcore mode. I think Choo Choo Charles is a really fun game. And also, I will say though, I'm going to mark the game down a tiny bit because I don't think I liked the scenes in the game where you have to be stealthy. I don't know about you guys, but the scenes in the game in which you're forced to be stealthy weren't really that good, because it turns out that every single enemy in the game is rocking a tac shotgun and somehow have Halo Infinite tier aimbot where they can shoot you from across the map. And even when you get onto the train, they'd still be chasing you on it. It was, I don't know, I feel like the pacing of the game kind of grinded to a halt when you had to go through the segments of the game in which you had to go to these like underground mine shafts to go get an artifact that will help in dealing with Charles. I don't know. And there was only that one segment of the game that I really think dragged the game down a bit. I really like the train parts and I really like the other stuff where you just collect things and you do like lock picking stuff. Like some of the abilities get locked out to you. And also you don't have to explore everything in the game, but the fact that the game is open enough for you to explore everything if you wanted to, I really appreciated that. So I don't know. I think I'm going to put Choo Choo Charles on A. Click holding. That one video where I had that thumbnail. In fact, editor, you know what thumbnail I'm talking about. Drag it onto the screen right now. Put it on the screen right now before you put any gameplay on the screen. Simicere Official, Zach in the chat was the first person to see it because when I went to TwitchCon, actually, Zach saw me edit the thumbnail live. In fact, you know what? Let me just go to my second channel and show you the thumbnail. It is right done. It's right here. I'm not going to lie. When I gave Zubin the thumbnail brief, I can't lie to you fellas. I said, look at the content of the game, look at the click hold, and do whatever you want. And I got that. Fun fact, I initially was shirtless. And I was like, this might be a bit too much. So I had the crop top drawn again. Click holding was an interesting game. It was, I feel like click holding was kind of, it's gonna sound really weird and kind of, it might seem like a reach, but I pinpointed the ending from a mile away because it actually is a good, inverted commas, commentary on someone's ailing mental health. Genuinely. People look at click holding, they look at like the fact that the guy's like telling you to keep clicking while he watches you and everything, and all these like kind of weird, humorish kind of things that the click hold makes you do. But there's something underneath all that. And it's the fact that at the very end of it, the click hold gives you a lot of money. In fact, I think he mentions that it was like all the rest of his money that he had saved up. And there was only one way that this was going to go. The fact that he's spending this much money on you clicking a button in front of him and clicking it in random places in the room and striking up conversations with you. It was supposed to make you feel uncomfortable. And I feel like the game did a good job in conveying the fact that he's doing it not just because he's into it, but also it's the last thing that he wants to do. He's got like nothing left. And like he even said he had a family and everything, but even then he said he has like nothing left. So the ending for me didn't come as a surprise, but it also is a really good commentary on just, you know, someone's mental health and the fact that they spent all of that just on you and you alone. And also I did like the fact that at the very end of it, it was like, it was all like, what is the point of anything? What's the point in his life? I think even afterwards, when you look at the photo and you go into like this weird void and you keep clicking, it's like he's fulfilled his purpose. At the end of the game then asks you, what about you? What have you done lately? But yeah, so I think click holding is a very interesting game. Made you feel uncomfortable. Not much else to really talk about with the game. It was short and I think it made its statement. Content warning. I feel like this game had potential. Content warning is one of the few sets of games that is genuinely fun with friends. Content warning only worked on the first day because content warning was free and it was an April the 1st game. And I don't think there was enough for it to keep it going because Lethal Company had the hook of that you were going to all these planets and these monsters are in the places you have to explore and stuff. It also was insanely moddable. I didn't get the same vibes from content warning. It was, I really like the make your own video and then afterwards you watch your video back, but it didn't really seem like there was a sense of escalation to the game at all. It was like, all right, so get this equipment and that's pretty much it. I feel like if content warning had more if it had more interactivity with what you do with the actual film, and also it didn't really feel that risky, right? Like with Lethal Company had just enough variety in its world to keep you hooked in, and you also had the other hook of don't stay outside for too long. The problem with content warning is that it's extremely fun, but after 1 or 2 sessions with your brethrens, it gets a bit dry because, well, the enemies in the game, some of them are pretty funny, but a lot of them aren't. You don't really get the horror factor. I feel like Lethal Company kind of gave you that scare factor because like the developer made it steals. Like it was always going to be kind of freaky, but I feel like content warning, was anyone ever scared of anything that kind of happened in content warning? Lethal Company had like the coil heads and the bracken and stuff like that. That shit was terrifying. And also you even had the mods where you had like the mimic kind of thing where you could hear someone's voice, but it's not actually there. There wasn't really much in content warning. It needed more time. I don't really think content warning really had that much much of the source, but I'm not going to discount it too much because it also was really funny. For a free April the 1st game, so I think I'm probably going to put content warning on. I think content warning might be the definition of C or B. Where's Faith? Oh, hi, Adolf. Hi, Adolf. I'm getting there. Cooking companions. I knew I forgot something. I played Dreadweight as well. I knew I'm forgetting it. See, now that I'm doing these, I knew I forgot Dreadweight. I have to do this in post as well. But anyway, Cooking Companions. I thought it was all right. I feel like with Cooking Companions had good art. I like the horror art and stuff, and I also like the story beat of the characters slowly going more insane from the lack of food. And I like the fact that you're playing the villain. Like, it eventually starts as more and more is revealed about the game. It turns out that you are the villain, and the trumpets are like, it's weirdly explained, but like, are the trumpets with you or against you? You wouldn't know unless you played the DLC. I feel like a lot of the writing that was really, really telegraphed. Like, I remember playing it and we instantly saw that, you know, like, yeah, Karen's sus from day one. I didn't really like the fact that they kind of made it. I thought it was so obvious it was going to be a red herring, but it really wasn't. It was like, all right, Karen was just like that. Karen was just a bitch, and the other characters had to deal with it. Okay, like, Karen went to the dark side the quickest. I don't know. I think the art of the game is pretty good. I just feel like some of the writing in the game was kind of ham-fisted. It was very much like, how do we make it obvious that this character right here is a cock? How do we make it really obvious that this character is a big twat? All right, I know, sever another character's legs. But I did like the increasing sense of hopelessness. I think the mythology is what carries the game, but I did very much like the sense of hopelessness that the game conveys. And each of the characters are like, oh no, we ain't gonna survive until the next day. And the thing is, I don't know, I feel like a lot of the story being hidden behind DLC as well. Wasn't so sure about that one. So I think I'm gonna put Cooking Companions in Bear. Crowded Followed. Oh my goodness gracious me. Crowded Followed was basically It Follows, the video game. And I think Crowded Followed had a really, really good hook. The original demo was really, really short, and the jump scare was really, really disappointing. But I liked the elaboration in the full release of the game. I did like the fact that the stamina system in the game essentially was just the fact that we have a very rare disease. We are a homeless person with a very rare disease. I think the game takes place in Ireland, and they had to pay a medical bill of like 200 grand. It wasn't asthma. That was the crazy part. We had an asthma pump, but it wasn't actually asthma. It was a rare lung condition, because if you ran out of the stamina thing, you straight up die. You straight up die. It wasn't asthma. In fact, it was something else. But yeah, no, you straight up die if you run out of stamina in the game. And I really like the fact that it was really frustrating. The game really put the frustration of walking behind someone who's really, really slow. Have you ever had that issue, chat? Like, you're walking somewhere and then someone walks in front of you, but then they slow down and they walk really slowly and you're behind them just like... You really want to just jump scare them and just like creep up right behind them and just go... But yeah, you have to hold yourself back. Crowded Followed, it very much had that intensity as well, because the thing that was following you never increased in speed, but you had to worry about the asthma. And well, I would say the asthma is basically asthma. It was something else, but it was essentially asthma. I think Crowded Followed was an interesting concept. This is my personal thing. The frustration factor, I'm gonna knock it down a tiny bit, but I think Crowded Followed was a really interesting concept. I'm gonna put this one on A as well. Crow Scare, the first of many arcade kitten games that I've put on this tier list. And Crow Scare, I think, was the first one that I ended up playing, and I thought it was interesting. I really like the story beat of like a naive kid going out into the forest alone, basically finding a witch's house and not understanding why the witch is on their own and why his dad was saying don't go too far into the forest. I like the art style. It does suffer a tiny bit from being an early arcade kitten game, so obviously some of the RPG Maker sprites were repeated around the place, and also the story was a little bit, I thought the story was a little bit towards the end kind of all in your face, where it was like, oh, so since I've somehow decreed myself to be your brother, you can like eat some of my straw and the spell gets removed. I know it was goofy, and I know it was part of the tone of the game, but suspension of disbelief only goes that far. I didn't appreciate that the story did not shy away from the danger dangers of letting a kid go out into the forest that late. I feel like the game was interesting enough to keep me entertained. Wasn't really scary per se. There was like a segment in the game where it's all dark and everything, and there is like something on the outside where Riz sees a body. But apart from that, I don't know. I thought it was decent. I think I'm gonna put Scroll Scare actually on B. Dark Deception had a good hook, but after hearing about the dev and what he did and the kind of stuff that he was on, that one's a bit rough. I think I put Dark Deception on I think I put it on C. Darkwood, Doki Doki Literature Club. Now, I feel like Doki Doki Literature Club has become a victim of the times. A lot of people that rate the game are very much rating it on how it was like nowadays instead of when the game was released. I feel like part of the issue is a lot of people are talking about the game in the context of now. I'm going to say this. At the time, I think DDLC genuinely was extremely good. It was something different. It was something really, really different. I think with DDLC, my only issue with the game, and I mean, this is genuinely one of my only issues that I have with Doki Doki Literature Club, is what happens after Sayori dies. Now, there's a reason why I have an issue with it. It is a stroke of programming excellence, the kind of stuff that the game was on, using the character files and everything, and some of the stuff that happens in the game rarely. The only problem with it though is that after that happens, I know they try to wave it away as Monica messing with the game, but it just turns into a creepypasta game where shit happens afterwards, right? I feel like the build-up of everything, where it was like you have to go through about 3 to 4 hours of the visual novel part where it's kind of normal, like 4 hours of it where you're probably going to start dropping off, then all of a sudden, Sayori dies, the screen's doing weird stuff, Yuri dies, Natsuki just, oh my god. Like, I feel like Dan blew his load of scares on the really well done Sayori death scene, because the rest of the game then kind of rushed through the, oh no, Monica really wants to get to you, so Monica's going to start breaking the game a lot quicker. I also think that DDLC is also a victim of its own fan base. I think DDLC is a victim of its own fan base. DDLC as a game initially was made as to kind of poke fun at the typical visual novel tropes in terms of like getting super attached to a character, then bang, she's dead. Like, I feel like that was kind of the point. The pacing of the game was really, really weird. The pacing of the game also kind of helped to hammer in the point of, oh, you're getting so attached to these characters, and then bang, she's dead. And then the fan base took it, but it was like Poe's Law, where it was like people are liking it for the horror, but then the character designs are that appealing that you attract the people that the game is kind of making fun of. But then my issue was that, see, I don't really talk about the fan base in games because fan bases shouldn't influence my opinion on the game, but I feel like the state of the fan base influenced the development of DDLC Plus. I think DDLC Plus was it was the console thing, but from a story basis, I'm not gonna lie, I was really, really disappointed. I don't think I've been more disappointed at a expansion to the game that I was with DDLC Plus. I thought that DDLC Plus was actually going to go more into the psychological horror, right? And also, I was like, since Dan is not limited to having to mess around with someone's PC, since it's in a virtual environment, I thought that they were gonna pull a simulacra and have the in-game desktop work with the events of the game and have some more stuff there. But it didn't. I was so upset. I was like, I played the whole game and I was like, yep, that is DDLC again. And then the extra chapters, I was like, wait, are we gonna get some more scares? Some more look into the horror part. And then it didn't happen. I was so sad. Like, oh man. But I will say, Doki Doki Literature Club as a game itself and what it did, I feel like the DDLC is a fine game. So with that being said, I'm gonna put DDLC on A. I don't think there's a game that's more A than that. Dead Realm. How many of you guys were there last time I talked about Dead Realm? Would you guys like me to go on a bit of lore about the game? Okay, so I mentioned this in my previous video, but I'll give you some lore. Dead Realm was a game that was heavily promoted by YouTubers such as Vanos, Syndicate Project, and basically everyone surrounding the Vanos crew. This was at the time where they were playing a lot of Gary's Mod hide and seek, and a game development studio was like, let's make a genuine horror game where we can just have that with different horror It was basically, it's like DBD without the survivors doing anything. If you became a monster, you just joined the monsters and finding the rest of the survivors. In fact, let me see if I can get some gameplay for you guys. Look at that, Dead Realm. There's a lot of Dead Realm gameplay from way back when. The Sidemen played it, Smitty played it, Vanos played it, Corey played it, Slogoman played it. It's some gameplay of Dead Realm. It was basically just, you had decoys, you had a shield. You essentially just had to like hide. Find a place to hide, 8 seconds left. And then if you're hiding, you get a camera so you can see where the ghost is. It was really simple. It was really, really simple. He really stayed there the entire game. Oh my God. Anyway, point is, none of these YouTubers disclosed that they got paid to play this game. In fact, would you guys like some more lore? Would you guys like to see the Wikipedia page for Dead Realm? Like I said before, you know that you're in for a bit of interesting read when the Wikipedia page is in past tense. Dead Realm was. Dead Realm was a horror-style game for the PC. The main gameplay consists of one player taking control of a ghost while the remaining players are humans who must avoid being haunted by the ghost. On August 27, 2020, 3 Black Dot ended support and closed the official servers according to an announcement made on August 19, 2020 due to overwhelmingly negative reviews. You also realize that there's going to be an interesting read when there is a controversy section. Let's go to the controversy section, shall we? After the 3 YouTubers, you can tell that this was written by a fan. After the 3 YouTubers involved in production of Dead Realm, Adam Montoya, Tom Kessel, and Evan Fong, so Vanos Syndicate and C-Nanners published their Let's Play videos about the game, they encountered controversy due to the fact that they did not clearly disclose their financial ties to the game, which constituted a violation of the FTC's .com disclosure set of guidelines. Full government Yeah, so they didn't exactly disclose that they were involved in the production of the game. It's not exactly something that you're allowed to do. So now, interestingly enough, I decided to go and check Steam for Dead Realm. Like in the previous video, I found something called No Way Out, a Dead Realm tale. Now, if you go over here, it says mostly positive, right? But let's scroll down and have a look at the reviews. Good game has many bugs. The last reviews are in 2022, 2019. And then the most helpful review is a negative review. Let's read this. Don't buy. Horrible controls. Bought it thinking I could use the native Vive controllers. When I got in game, I found that wasn't the case. Couldn't figure out how to move. Mouse and keyboard were doing nothing. The next day, I decided to give it another chance. I saw on the store page that it now said Vive controllers were not supported, even though in-game they're controller mappings. I probably missed it when I bought it. So I get in game, finally moving around with the mouse and keyboard. I pick up some book and it tells me I need to investigate the downstairs bathroom. So I'm like, okay, let's go down there. That's when I discovered that I couldn't put the book down. No matter what I tried, pressing E like how I picked it up, pressing escape, enter, F, Q, nothing was working. The book simply would not get out of my face. I'm writing this review right before I request my refund. I was hoping for a good Halloween game for my Vive. This one was a letdown. Yeah, a lot of the reviews are saying I'm positive for now, but like, my God, it's bad. The most helpful review is this one. 66 people found this helpful. So let me preface this by saying, here's my YouTube channel, my Twitch channel, my Twitter, my Instagram, my Vine. I'm so my TikTok and all my other links like every other review here is done. Also, by the way, ASL on my MySpace, hit me up. Jokes aside, the game's controls are abysmal. The fact that you made a VR game and are saying the VR controllers don't work for your VR game is so absurd. And I could barely put into words that I'll try. Your graphics are decent, but I almost couldn't tell because even at maximum brightness, 90% of the background and the scenery is pitch black. The game's like 30 minutes long from start to finish for $20. Yeah, apparently though, interestingly enough, the game's kind of dead. That's unfortunate. Anyway, that's your lore about Dead Realm. With that being said, I think I'm probably going to put Dead Realm. I'm sorry, but Dead Realm goes in a mega lol tier. That it's mainly just down to the fun with friends thing. Devour, I think the only reason why I put this one here, Devour's also a fun with friends one, but I want to show you guys something. If you've watched my original tier list video, I'm going to be showing you the same things, but I'm going to show you this one again. You guys ready? It's loud, by the way. The amount of times this guy has gotten scared over this game. You guys remember when XQC played video games? I miss it. I found another one. All right, here we go. That reminds me of that German clip where he plays that Santa horror game and gets jump scared horribly for no reason. No, I've got the German jump scare clip. All right, I'm gonna play it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh my What's going on?
You can literally hear him break character and just go, oh my, like listen to him break character for a second. Hang on, listen.
Oh my
This just happens when you play DMC. It's a sound bug in the game. It can just happen at any point. It wasn't a stream redeem. The game has a very bad and vicious sound bug that still hasn't been fixed, that at any moment while you're doing an attack like that, the game will just break. It will just break. I think several people have been scared shitless because it randomly happened. You don't know when it's gonna happen. Like for him, he just got unlucky. It happened here.
Oh my.
It just happens randomly. But with Devour, I don't know really how to rank this one. I feel like this one's also a fun with friends kind of thing. Like it doesn't really have much else going for it. It was like a part of the genre of games that included like Pacify and stuff like that. So I think I'm gonna put it on C. Dolmare! You know what? I really like Dolmare. The one problem that I had is that the game breaks easily in some areas and there's no checkpoints. But I appreciate that Dolmare was made because the developers are too scared to play horror games. The developer literally said, we get jump scared easily and we're too scared to play horror games. So let's make a game that has minimal jump scares and just has like a somewhat creepy environment. They said they made it for people that are too scared to play horror games because they themselves are scared to play horror games. I think with Dolmare was kind of a cross between I'm on observation duty and the Exit 8 because it was basically you're working in a toy factory and you have to find anomalies in each of the dolls. And sometimes you have to fix the dolls, and it had like a very sinister story underlying there, and I really liked it. I think it was really fun to just like go out of your way to like fix some of the dolls. I don't think there's much else to say about the game. Again, this is on Theft VODs if you haven't seen it already. I think I'm gonna put Dolmare on like B, C, because I think the lack of checkpoints really marked the game down. Don't scream. I'm not gonna lie, that one was pretty bad. The only thing it had going for it was just how it looked. It was one of the first Varo games to utilize the whole body cam thing. It was a good idea, but it was a bad execution. It was just jump scares. It was a horrific execution. Like, the issue that I had with the game is that it was just like, it wasn't really scary. It was just things popping up in your face to make you go, ah, I don't think there's much else to say. It was a nice concept on paper, but it does cost money and you don't get much out of it. I mean, they added more to it, but from what I played, no. It's going on here. The only thing that I had going for it was like, I mean, it looked nice, but its looks don't carry it that far. Duck Season. Now, the stress level 0, they cooked. The only problem that I have with Duck Season though, Duck Season is very much a product of its time. If you want to play the normal version of Duck Season and you have a Valve Index, you are unfortunately shit out of luck because the game was made before the Valve Index was created and it hasn't been updated since the Valve Index was created. The normal version that requires you to manually reload the gun and double hand it doesn't work because the hands in the game are developed in such a way that they only work for controllers that you're holding. That was the only down thing about it, but that's not the game's fault. Now, I kind of like the creep factor of the game. You're playing this Duck Season game while the mascot's after you. I don't know. I think Duck Season, for what it is, I think it's up there with some of the creepiest that VR has to offer. And the fact that it actually made a decent VR horror game that was its own kind of thing. I think I'm going to actually put Duck Season on A. Very influential for its time, and Stress Level 0 went on to bigger things afterwards. Emily wants to play, and Emily wants to play 2. Now, I have some very choice words about Emily wants to play and Emily wants to play 2. I think both of them are a product of its time. Both of them do the whole survive until 6 a.m. thing, but I feel like the gimmick of the game was all right. And by that, I mean, I liked the different mechanics of each of the toys. I'm gonna be so real with you guys. The different gimmicks of the toys were pretty cool. I like the fact that also they give you advice on how to deal with them, but the advice is actually the opposite of what you're supposed to do, which threw a lot of people off while playing the game. Because like, for example, when you're playing Emily Wants to Play and you had like the clown, and what they all say is like, if you see the clown, make sure you move as much as possible on the whiteboard. So lots of streamers will probably see that and be like, oh, so we see the clown and we're gonna have to stop moving. And then you move, instantly eviscerated. You had the really awkward point of 2 of the dolls worked against you because the clown, I believe, you can't move at all. You can't even move your mouse if the clown spawns in. If the other doll spawns in, you need to run out of the room. Like, I can't remember what the name of that one is. I think it was Chester. So if the clown spawns and Chester spawns, it's game over. The game had a lot of moments like that where it's ridiculously unfair. Then Emily Wants to Play 2 upped the ante by having even more toys you had to deal with, and it kind of leaned into the goofiness with the weird seance that Chester was doing at the start of the game. The fact that you have like the nope ending. I don't know. It was really, really weird. Now, fun fact about the game that I mentioned in my last video. Did you know that the thumbnail for my Emily Wants to Play 2 video got posted on R34? Yes, I'm not joking. Don't Google it. Someone just straight up posted the thumbnail for my T9 video of Emily Wants to Play 2 on R34. The comments were all saying, what the fuck, it's just a thumbnail. And I'm like, what? I'm not going to lie. I think I'm going to put Emily Wants to Play in D and Emily Wants to Play 2 goes in C. I think that's fair enough. Employee of the Month. I think I'm going to do this one a little bit quickly. Employee of the Month. I really like this game. I think this game did humor really, really well. It was like, it's not technically Employee of the Month. You are an employee of a shop called The Month. I kind of like the lean into surreal horror that the game had going for it. I like the goofy Kermit voice that the manager had. I don't think it's amazing, but I think Employee of the Month is definitely an interesting game in its own right. I don't know. I didn't think it was that bad. I think humor carried the game really, really hard. I think I'm going to put this one on B. Eerie. You guys know it's coming. I'm not even going to say anything else. You know it's coming. All right. You already know it's coming. Even the start of the video. Anyway, let's go to the whole bit. This bit. What the fuck? I love the jump scare is so goofy. I get they're trying to have the monster like devouring you, but like the jump scare was a bit goofy. Anyway, here we go.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Shit! Fuck me! Shit! What the fuck? I don't fucking know! Fuck! Stop screaming! Stop!
And you know what the crazy part is? You know what the crazy part about that clip is? Wait, hang on.
I don't fucking know!
All right, this clip.
Stop screaming! Stop!
All right, so we've played Eerie twice in general. Like, I've only uploaded one Eerie video on the T9 channel. Then we streamed it again during the subathon. And this specific point of the game is just it's literally a pre-programmed jump scare. It's literally just a pre-programmed jump scare. The monster actually isn't there. All the monster does is literally like that horror trope of a monster just going from one side of the corridor to the other as a jump scare. It's a scheduled thing. When you run in that section, the monster's not actually there. But they saw that and they thought it was there.
Fuck.
Like, watch.
Stop screaming! Stop!
They literally thought that the monster was there, so just 180'd instantly. Oh my God. Now, there's also one other really, really funny thing about this game that I must show you on the T9 channel. Let's leave. Oh God, we're gonna get like a bad ending cutscene, aren't we? All right, I guess we're just gonna have to go then. That's the end. That's literally it. That is the end of the game. That is genuinely the ending. That's it. That is probably top 5 worst U1 screen I've ever seen. Like, oh my goodness gracious me. Like, that's literally it. You go through all that in the game and you just get hit with that. What would you do? I'd crash out. Like, the game looks so graphically decent for its time, and then you get slapped with a PNG at the end. Anyway, let's talk about the actual game itself. Now, Eerie, I'm gonna be the first one to, oh no, don't scare me! Ah! With regards to Eerie, the thing about Eerie is that I think the game's ahead of its time. If there was a game that needs a remake, it is Eerie. I genuinely think Eerie was ahead of its time. The maze of like sewers and the lab and the monster design not sounding like a really loud jump scare sound. It just sounded like something scraping on a floor. I feel like the game is well overdue for a remake. It was a very, very inventive setting at the time, and it looked decent. They had the spray that essentially allowed you to navigate and see places you've been before. I don't know, guys. days. And the crazy part is that the game was on Desura, so it's lost to time unless you have the game downloaded or you find it on the Internet Archive. If there's any game that I implore any developer to at least tackle, I think it's this one. I don't think we have enough games that are just set in like sewers or labs like that. And we're gonna get to it a little bit later, but like Monstrum and stuff like that. We need more games like that. We need more games that are like, underwater horror is underrated. We don't get much of that. So regardless of like the ending screen and the monsters AI not being great, I guess, I think Eerie is a fine game for its time. It does need more time in the oven. I feel like a lot of stuff marks it down, so I'm gonna put it on C. Now, we have two evils here. The first evil, I don't really know what else to say about this. This evil was just really, really bad. I think it's kind of crazy that we've got two evils here and both of them were shit. This one was shit for a different reason. It had the weird room showing those weird gore videos and stuff like that. And I remember this version of evil, even like baby Markiplier, like clean shaven, short haired, glasses Markiplier, who still had like his room in Cincinnati in the background. He hated this game. It was really bad. This is going in F. It's genuinely awful. Now this evil, this one's a whole different story. This one is I don't know how else to explain to you guys. This one was another level of bad, but it was like really, really funny. Now, you guys are probably wondering, why is it so funny? I will show you why it's so funny. I'm gonna roll the clip. Wait, why is it there? We're gonna look down at the boobies. Let's see. I'm going. Why did they program the jump scare to just show up in front of you? Why didn't they have the camera look up? It's literally... They didn't even program like a proper jump scare for it. The game punishes you for looking at boobs. No. So what happened was, okay, so if you walk too close to this thing right here, which is literally just a Miximo model, I believe, to this model right here, it will jump scare you by just showing up in front of you, right? So I think after we died the first time to this jump scare, we decided to look down to see whether the jump scare is still the same. So that's why I was looking down. Also, I think the very first thing upon the game opening up was literally just, yeah, we were in a bikini. Like, you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm gonna show you guys though actual gameplay of this. All right, where is it? I'm trying to find it. I think it was like a couple of years ago, so I'm gonna do before 2022. I've found a no commentary playthrough. I think I'm just gonna show you this one. You guys ready? I don't know whether they edited the volume to be a bit further down, but let me just show you guys just how loud it gets. All right. Jesus! Jesus! I had the volume on halfway. Like, it's that loud. And you know what that is? It's literally just the static on the screen. Like, all right, genuine volume warning. This is bloody loud. All right, you ready? Oh, God. Oh, God. It sounds like someone put the microphone in the toilet and flushed. They have these random jump scares sprinkled throughout the game for no reason other than to be loud. It's so annoying. All right, anyway, that was Evil. You got like the boob jump scare and all that kind of stuff. Evil goes in Omega LOL. The Exit 8. This was the trope codifier. This was the trope codifier of a lot of trends that occurred this year. I like the concept. It was one way of, I guess, elaborating on the whole observation duty trend. Instead of being routed to the spot, you're in a station and you need to get to the 8th exit. And if you mess up an anomaly, if you go forward when there's no anomaly, or if you don't go back when there is an anomaly, you start again. And I thought that was a pretty inventive mechanic. I do think though that it does rely a lot on the gimmick of constantly checking the station, which I don't mind. There wasn't really much because I can't say the game is scary. I still think one of the creepiest clips in the game was the man in the wall that was literally like part of the wall, and if you get closer he starts running at you. That one was creepy. I feel like the X8's a decent game in its own right, but I can see it has little to no replay value once you've gone through one of the loops. Like afterwards it's just finding the anomalies, and then there's not even a guarantee that there is going to be an anomaly. I do like this kind of games that force you to think a little bit harder, but with how subtle some of the anomalies are, it does get a little frustrating. So I'm probably gonna put X8 on the first one. Low B high A eyes. Yeah! Yes! Now this one, you know what? Eyes is a very interesting game because the PC version is abandonware, but apparently it's been heavily updated on mobiles. But there is one thing about Eyes that we must look at, and it's that Markiplier clip, because it's probably one of the funniest clips from Markiplier's channel that I've ever watched. I'm not going to like, it's one of the funniest clips. All right, is it the sexy ghost one? Yes. All right, Eyes, Markiplier. All right. All right, you guys ready? I love you even titled the video sexiest ghost ever. you guys ready for the clip? All right, straight face. I cannot laugh.
Another eye.
He adjusts his camera.
Ah, run! Oh, labels! Oh, hello, baby. What was that? That's like a ballet dancer.
He gets jump scared, sees the ghost, and he's like, oh, no, hello, babe. I'm gonna play that one again. I love when the mood change where he's like, the game says run, and then the ghost gets you, and it's like,
Another eye.
all right, wait for it.
Ah, run! Oh, labels! Oh, hello, baby.
Oh, hello, baby. I genuinely love how the panic in his voice instantly evaporates the second he sees the ghost. Same vibes as, oh, she's such a bad bitch, though. But that's the thing, though. Why was this the ghost before? Like, what was this about? Like, what?
Oh, hello, baby.
The general gist of the game was basically just a Slender clone where playing as a robber, I believe, and you have to just collect a certain amount of bags of money. And within the bags of money, there's also a chance that you can find eyes on the wall. And it was a neat mechanic where you can sometimes see what the ghost sees so that it gives you time to make a plan of action and essentially just escape, right? That used to be what the ghost looked like, right? Like really sexy ghost. I will now link you to another video by a YouTuber that we've already watched today. I will just show you. All right, here we go.
I'm not scared. Ah! What the fuck is hell? Shit! What the fuck, man?
Let me just. It's like, I'm not scared. I think it's just that I'm not scared that he sees the ghost. Ah! So that's the ghost now. It's a big ass head. So instead of a big titty ghost, you got a ghost that could probably just bite your cock off. Anyway.
Ah! What the fuck is hell? Shit! What the fuck, man?
I love how they flew onto the bed at the sight of the ghost. Her name is Krasu. Ah, is it? Really? I did not know that. It appeals to a different fetish, I guess. Yeah, I guess so. But the thing is that the game itself was pretty simple. It was basically just a Slender clone where you just collect stuff. But I feel like the mechanic of being able to see what the monster sees was really inventive. I didn't really have much to write home about though. It was kind of, So I'm probably gonna put this on D. Now, Adolf, my beloved, that's like, come on, let's be so real. Faith was not going anywhere other than S. Faith is easily one of the best horror games I've ever played. I mean, Adolf was like watching it on the side. Adolf, yeah? Sucking up because the devs in your stream, I see. Yeah, I'm definitely not sucking up because the devs in my stream and I was in the game as an Easter egg. No, it was a fun game. It was great. It was really, really good. I do think though, one part of my playthrough that I know was probably one of the worst experiences that I've ever had was when I played marathon mode. I thought marathon mode meant that I could go back to a checkpoint. No. I played the whole game up until chapter 3 in the apartment where you have to don't even get me started on that part because I remember it's the one where you have to protect Lisa, and when I was playing marathon mode I fucked up. I accidentally killed Lisa and I was really annoyed because I didn't realize how much you had to fight the controls as you get possessed and you head towards Lisa, right? Lisa was way too close to me, so I decided let me quit the game and restart the sequence so that I can save Lisa. I lost all of my progress. You can see it on the VOD. I literally quit the game. I lost everything. But the game was so good, I wasn't even bothered. I started the game again from scratch. Fears to fathom. I know I probably should have, but since it's chapter based, instead of making Fears to Fathom in different segments, I've put it as a whole as one game. The concept is pretty good, but I can't shake off the fact that like there's loads of things about the games that I just really don't like. I mean, it got a bit formulaic where it was like something normal happened, then you get a text message and it's like, but I'm not there, and then who was phone? And then you have to like be quiet because it detects your microphone, then you have to leng it out. All the games are kind of the same. It was like same game, different kind of environment. Now, I think for what it is, it was fresh for its time. I did like that the narration at the bottom updated based on stuff you did. For example, if you drive a car and you drive it badly, the narration at the bottom also adapts to what you're doing. The only problem is it felt really, really weird with regards to the fact that they straight up went out of their way to add pissing scenes in all of the games, like straight up corpse party tier pissing scenes, and the eating mechanic. It felt really, really weird. I genuinely don't understand what they were thinking with that. Like, they even had a toggle on Fears to Fathom where you could toggle off the toilet sounds and the eating sounds in the game. I don't have that phobia, right? But Fears to Fathom has the most squelchy, disgusting eating sounds in any game that I've ever played. They straight up had a piss meter. Like look, privacy. Why is that toilet? Like, look, you can hear it. They're like, it was so weird. They had a piss meter. That's what they meant by toilet sounds. Like, who, man? Like, why would you add that into the game for no, you know why they literally added it to the game? They were like, oh yeah, go to the toilet so you can get a big fat jump scare as you leave. We're tall enough to look over, come on. All right. Is the and then they have these fake out jump scares. I don't know, guys. I didn't really like a lot of the games just doing that, like having really, really loud, overly telegraphed jump scares. They don't even do anything. They just appear in front of you. And there's a really loud rah sound. Like, anyone can do that. The realistic stories and some of that I really like, but I think I'm gonna put on B. I feel like the weird piss and eating mechanic and stuff like that was just, it was all right. Finding Frankie, the Fall Guys horror game. It was all right. I know I've been saying that for a lot of the games, but genuinely, what more can I say with Finding Frankie? With regards to Finding Frankie, I feel like it aped a bit too much from Fall Guys. I like the aesthetic. A horror game show with essentially a monster after you that kills the contestants and stuff like that. The only problem that I had, the execution wasn't great. The parkour feature was kind of half-assed, I can't lie. You could spam space and you could be wall running on a bunch of the stuff. Your slide was really, really powerful. You can slide really quickly, it increases your speed. It is basically doing like the ultra kill slide move. And then the obstacle courses were literally just Fall Guys levels. I feel like more could have been done there. It was literally Fall Guys, Fall Guys but horror. And I feel like it needed more than that to reel me in. So I'm going to probably put Finding Frankie on. I think Finding Frankie is a solid C. Now! The part of the video you're probably all waiting for. The flurry of Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, I'm going to start instantly with Five Nights at Freddy's, the original one. And I'm going to put the original one, and I'm going to say it right now. The original one is S tier. The original game is S tier. I'm going to be so real with you. I haven't changed my opinion since the last one. The original game is S tier because a lot of people are looking at Five Nights at Freddy's in the lens of now. You have to take yourself back to 2014 when the game came out and no one knew anything about it. No one knew about this story thing. There was no William Afton. There was no this purple guy thing. There was only like the animatronics heading towards you, teleporting around the place, and they get closer to your office. And also, you only had these weird screens, like the Bonnie with no eyes screen that shows up randomly. All you had was Phone Guy. Okay, but that's kind of looking at it through rose-colored glasses. Yeah, but the point is not rose-tinted glasses. You have to look at it in the lens of how it was at release. Because if you look at it for the other ones, then you wouldn't ever like anything ever. Because you'll be like, was it ever scary? Well, yeah, you've watched 1,000,000,001 YouTubers play the game. You have to look at it in a vacuum. The first game still has a really, really decent atmosphere. I think Five Nights at Freddy's 1 had an insanely good mechanic that no one had ever done before. Rooted to the same spots, and you have to watch through cameras, animatronics that just act really weird and get nearer and nearer to you. It was the perfect storm. The first game had creepy ambience, creepy visuals. The phone guy was the only dialogue that you ever got. That was the only tutorial that you ever got. It was a didactic tutorial. It wasn't like what Hand Unit kind of does now, where Hand Unit is just like, you must do this, then do this, and do this, then do this and that. that's in this. The phone guy just trying to strike up a casual conversation with you, giving you information about like Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, and then in night 4 he gets killed, and then night 5 you get this weird audio and stuff, and you had random moments like Golden Freddy showing up. You had random stuff like the plates in one of the corridors changing to some creepy pictures. The first game is legitimately a good scary horror game. It's more that can be said for the other ones, but I feel like a lot of people when talking about Five Nights at Freddy's really discount just how good the first game was. And also the difficulty, it was really difficult as well when it first came out. Now it's easy. You have people like completing 420 mode really easily. But back then, without all that knowledge, it's hard. And also if you don't know about FNAF and you play it for the first time, it's genuinely something else. FNAF 1, Lightning in a Bottle, I wouldn't say the perfect game, but I feel like for what it did, Five Nights at Freddy's itself was good. It's good. Let's go to FNAF 2. Five Nights at Freddy's does. This one upped the ante from the first and added even more animatronics, and I think it's good. I think FNAF 2 is good, but it's not great. The overabundance of animatronics in this one, it was a bit much. I feel like the issue that I have with Five Nights at Freddy's 2 especially is that there's so many animatronics that you need to like worry about, like so many of them. And I get that Scott decided that the best thing to do was to bench some of the animatronics on some nights, but I feel like FNAF 2 didn't really have the ambience to go with it. The only thing that was decent with the ambience with FNAF 2 was when the animatronics got closer. You weren't really looking through all of them for the animatronics. It was basically just wind up the music box, especially at later nights where all you could do was wind up the music box. That's all you could have done. So I'm gonna put FNAF 2 in A. FNAF 3. I can't say I enjoyed FNAF 3. It's the definition of meh. It's a slug to play. And I remember even playing it for the first time. It's just Cam 9, Cam 10. I think out of the 4, FNAF 3 is easily not easy. Out of the 4, I think FNAF 3 was easily the worst one out of the 4. It was like, when people ask about the gameplay, people didn't talk about the gameplay. They talk about 3 being good because of Springtrap. I don't know. I think FNAF 3 is the weakest one of the lot. And FNAF 3's reputation is only saved by Springtrap and what at the time we thought was the conclusion of the story. I think FNAF 3 for me, if I'm going to be 100% with you guys, FNAF 3 is a C. Now FNAF 4 is gonna be an interesting one because 4 was an overcorrection from 3, because a lot of people were like 3 wasn't scary, so Scott was like, okay, I will make 4 scary. I like the mechanic of, well, okay, this one's gonna be a debatable one. As at the same time of me liking the mechanic, I don't like the fact that he had to rely on sound, because Scott Cawthon and his sound mixing, he has to answer to God for like the terrible sound mixing in FNAF 4, because why do you really want me to have my volume up at like 100 to hear the smallest inkling of like a, and if you get it wrong, you get your ears completely eviscerated. But I will say I will say the listening mechanic was a really decent way to go about it. I like the premise. I also really like the fact that it's in a bedroom as well. It's like nightmare animatronics in a bedroom. Instead of having to look at the animatronics get closer, you can't see the animatronic unless they're right there. You are relying entirely on like listening out for them. And I really like the fun with plush trap minigame. I think it did enough different things for me to overlook some of the glaring issues with the sound mixing in the game. It's just that at a point it got a bit unfun, but I feel like the game had more pros than cons. The listening mechanic was not great, but it was really, for what it did, after 3 games in a row of looking at cameras, it did the best possible thing to do, and it was something different, and I liked it. And I also liked the animatronic designs. I feel like the animatronic designs in this one, I mean, they were on the, oh, we're gonna make this one really scary, but I think it worked with the premise of the game. So controversially, I'm gonna put FNAF 4 on a B. I think it's a solid B. Help Wanted 2. And I know you guys are asking, where's Help Wanted 1? Well, So Help Wanted 2 is the new sequel to the original FNAF Help Wanted. I am talking about Help Wanted in my main channel video, and I will say Help Wanted 2 was a bit of a downgrade. I think the one thing about Help Wanted is that Help Wanted is genuinely cursed. It's a testament to how scary Scott's original games were, because translating those to VR made them actually scary. Help Wanted 2, on the other hand, was not scary. I'm not gonna lie, Help Wanted 2, I felt nothing. I felt nothing playing that one. It wasn't scary. I think it's only down to the fact that the original game modes were just not good. I think it speaks volumes that the only parts of the game that I really enjoyed were the ones where they actually copied Sister Location. The original had that scare factor to it, and the second one lacked it completely. And then they decided to go all in on like having a goofy story where you had that ending where you're in one of those toy crane machines and there's just like a giant Vanny looking at you and crushing a glitch trap in a fist. And then you just look at that and you're like, what the fuck? I will say Steelwool does a better job at doing VR games. And I think that's what they should stick to, because FNAF, I don't think FNAF works in anything else that isn't those mechanics. I'm not saying Help Wanted 2 was bad. I think Help Wanted 1 is just like, if I was to put it on a list, I'd say Help Wanted 1 would probably also go on S or A. Help Wanted 2 though, I think it's gonna go on B, because while it was fun, I didn't really feel much doing it. It was a bit of a chore. I liked some of the translations of like newer mechanics, like actually working a job at the Pizzaplex, but I feel like security breach and its consequences have been a disaster for the franchise. More on that later. Five Nights at Freddy's Into the... the art direction in the game is good, but I will say the game becomes a bit of a slug. I can't lie, but yeah, if the pacing didn't fall off a cliff in Act 2, I would have put it in S, because the art direction, the imposter dad bit, like, it carries it a lot. I really like the clock tower aesthetic. That pixel art, great. It was fantastic. Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator. Now, unpopular opinion, I prefer the tycoon parts. I have a very unpopular opinion. I preferred the tycoon parts to the rest of the game. The tycoon parts were really fun. How's that unpopular? Apparently people prefer the office parts. I just really wish that there was more in the tycoon part that you could do. Imagine making a big fuck off pizzaplex out of the stuff that you got. I really wish there was more to it. I really wish there was more to the tycoon parts. Like, you know what? I'm so surprised Steelwool haven't done that. I'm more surprised that they haven't made a genuine tycoon FNAF game. That seems like such a slam dunk. I genuinely play it. Pizzeria Sim should have been the end of the FNAF story though. Yes, I agree, and I will say the ending was literally just burn it all. Burn it all. I did like the LA Noire type segments where you're investigating the animatronic too, the salvage segments. I thought those were pretty interesting. I can't lie, fun game. Security, oh no, That's going on Omega LOL. That's going on Omega LOL. It was, fucking hell. Sister Location. The Sister Location was when they decided to go to sci-fi. I think Sister Location's too bloated for its own good. I'm gonna be so real with you guys. I genuinely think Sister Location is way too bloated for its own good. It had some decent ideas, but wow. I like the Funtime animatronic. I like the Funtime Freddy section. There were so many gameplay loops and gameplay styles that they did, and it was just overly long, and also it was really unfunny. The game did something kind of different. It had like something for everyone. This wasn't all right, but it definitely wasn't unplayable. So I'm gonna put it on C, low C, high D. I'm probably gonna put it on C actually. I'm gonna put it on C. I think C is what I did last time, because I like some of the ideas that they had, but it's too bloated. It's the same level as FNAF 3, because it's not that it's unplayable. It's more like you play it and you're like, unfortunately, I still haven't played it. I haven't played it. So I have to add another road bullet that just says, I don't know, will play soon. IDK will be on T9 soon. All right, there we go. Got to the back. Oh my, wait, hold. All right, there we go. Godzilla Ban Ban is genuinely one of the worst horror games I've ever played. I played every single one of them on stream. It's shit. And anyone who says, oh yeah, oh no, it's peak, you haven't played it. You just watched a YouTuber play it and pretended that that's your opinion. It's one of the worst. It cost money for abysmal dog shit. I played all of the games. It wasn't fun. It's like the way the games go, it's not scary. The games have absolutely nothing good going for them. The tone, shot to hell. Every voice actor except one or two, they didn't even try. The person who voiced Ban Ban, I'm pretty sure was one of the devs. It would have been so much better if the person who was playing Ban Ban actually had personality and cared about voicing Ban Ban. It's not fun. And you can tell there's so many parts in the game where they purposely stretched out the game's runtime in order to prevent people from refunding the game. It's not a good game. And the thing is, I remember I decided, I was like, I wanted to be nice. We literally played it during the subathon. We wanted to be nice with the game. We were like, oh yeah, let's be nice with the game. I mean, I played the first one, it's all right, but the more and more we played it, the goofier the story got, the fact that none of the VAs really cared about what they were doing apart from 1 or 2. The writing was really, really bad. The puzzles weren't even puzzles. They were like, go to one side to answer some 1 or 2 math puzzle questions, then come back, and if you die, you have to go back about 20 minutes of gameplay. We thought it wasn't that bad. It was that bad. It was really, really that bad. All right, there we go. I think what's crazy is that they had the blueprint and they biffed it and they went out of their way to make it even worse. How? Happy's Humble Burger Farm. The next game on the list, I actually really, really liked Happy's Humble Burger Farm because it's one of the few games that really accentuated the stress of working fast food. I feel like Happy's Humble Burger Farm having the hook of you're working in fast food, but there's like a big conspiracy going on in the environment that you are. It's like a virtual kind of environment. I think the issue that I had with Happy's Humble Burger Farm is that it did play its hand really, really early. The very first cutscene, I believe, was like, it looked like it was you getting an implant. It felt like the game it played its hand extremely early with you getting an implant, and now you knew that there was something up in the game. I feel like they probably shouldn't have added that specific cutscene to start off the game, because now you're like, oh no, you kind of know where it's going. But I really like the presentation of the game. The game was very lengthy and it was very, very elaborate. They had a bunch of ads that they made for the TV in the house that you live in. They had an explorable city, which had a museum, and it had a very elaborate story with several boss battles and everything. I enjoyed it. If you play the Game Jam version, you knew what was up, but I kind of feel like I really didn't want the game to play the hand that early. That was the only issue that I had with Happy Humble's Burger Farm, with how fleshed out the world was and how really, really fun everything else about the game kind of was. I don't think I can really put Happy's Humble Burger Farm in anything lower than an A. I liked it a lot. Home Safety Hotline. Oh, now that one is, yeah, before I even explain myself, I'm going to have to explain myself. S tier, that one, it seems boring on paper. You're basically operating a service where people have problems in their house that can be attributed to a list of symptoms that are on the left-hand side of the screen, and you need to choose the right one or else they're going to have trouble. Now, the thing is, I didn't get anything wrong on Home Safety Hotline, the original one. I fell off with the DLC, but I was very tired and time constrained. But the original Home Safety Hotline playthrough, I wasn't able to see the results of getting it wrong, but I did watch some clips, and I think the VA work was really, really good. I also loved the story. The story was good. I liked how you don't know the extent of what you're getting yourself into until the week continues. Like, as the week goes on, you notice that everyone's speaking a bit more old-timey. They're all speaking in a bit more old English. And then you realize, oh, it's the Fae. Oh, that's what we were. And now we have a test and everything. And I really, really like the ending cutscene if you get everything correctly. It was a very, very fun game to try and guess what everything was. Like, having to look very closely at everything and answer it as much as possible. It's basically like an English exam where you had to like look at what you were reading and get the right answer for it. I'm surprised there's no clone of this game yet. To make a clone of this game, you need to be good at writing. This game had decent writing. You need to be a very good writer in order to make a game of this caliber. I feel like clones of this game are very hard to develop because of that reason. I love the production value, and I really love some of the inventive monster designs as well. I feel like the game is its own beast. Oh, okay, now E. Everyone's gonna say S, but no, I am actually on a disagreement with that. I think it's going to be an A. Now, the reason why I say that is because I feel like the game had issues with the ending part with Mary. I really like the presentation of the game, but the stuff with Mary, I wasn't exactly a big fan of. I wasn't a big fan of it. I don't know. It didn't really feel, I liked the whole alternate Guaterna museum segment of the game, and that room that was very much Gary's own fears of like dolls and everything. Like Gary saw something completely different to what Eve was seeing, and Mary was basically manipulating Eve the entire time. But like once it kind of went to the fact that Mary was the main antagonist, I feel like the game kind of was a bit lacking there. Eve is a fine RPG Maker game. It's one of the best, but I feel like it's an A. I don't think I'm gonna put it on masterpiece tier yet. Maybe if I look at the other games, I'll swap everything around. I'm on observation duty. This one's iconic in its own right. I'm on observation duty managed to mix a really, really interesting story with a mechanic that would seem boring on paper. It was essentially spot the difference with a plot. Yes, there's a story. Most of the issues with what you're doing in I'm on observation duty, you're working for this agency that's dealing with these anomalies, and at the start of the game, they do mention it a lot, how this agency is trying to deal with these anomalies that are taking over different aspects of the town or city that they resided in. There is a very, very elaborate story with it. It's not like a story where it's like, oh, this, that, and the other. It's mainly just the story continues with each game. That's just me though. Is Yuppie Psycho there? I never added... Now I'm thinking I should do an addendum and add these games in post. After we're done, we'll add these games individually so that we have a complete list. Point is, I'm on observation duty. I think how iconic it was and how cool the mechanic was, even it was a bit, like, I feel like it was a bit boring. Like, I think the issue that I had is that a lot of the times it's just kind of survive until 6 a.m., but there was nothing much going on, and it really was like, the differences are really, really subtle. There wasn't really much else to really put with the game. So I think I'm gonna put this one on high C, low B, because it's not bad. Don't think of C as bad. Think of C as like, you can play it. I just don't think it's something that you'll be like, oh my God, like, oh my God, this is an amazing horror game. As influential as it was, it still spot the difference, but a scary, a scary twist. Ah, yes, I'm Scared. The one now, I have a lot of stuff that I can say about this one. I'm Scared is also one of my favorite games that I've played, and I really, really like I'm Scared. Funny thing about I'm Scared though, is that I feel a bit bad. I feel like my thumbnails have done a lot of damage. And I feel really bad sometimes because I'm like, I honestly didn't direct my thumbnail artist to draw her, aka Koom Lady, with such massive abs. I feel like it started a trend of people drawing her like really, really curvy. But then again, it also was the game design didn't help with it. This I'm Scared thumbnail, YouTube thought was completely fine on launch. Then a couple of months later, YouTube deleted the thumbnail. And I was like, okay, fair enough. It lasted a bit too long for my own good. I was like, I censored the thumbnail later and did this, right? And YouTube thought that was completely fine. Now, this is where it gets really, really interesting. All the VODs are still up, right? And let me tell you right now, this is fully monetized. But about the game itself, I really like the fourth wall breaking in the game. I think I'm Scared's fourth wall breaking is one of the best that any horror game has done because it services the story really, really well. Like Whiteface wants to interact with you, not like the player, you. And Whiteface is really lonely. It's a curse on the game, and the game has a bunch of different puzzles and mazes that you have to go through. I really like that the end of the game also has you essentially just, it opens up the entire game and you realize, I mean, there's not much to the game environment. Everything is in one section, down one corridor, which I thought was really, really cool. Now, there's one thing about I'm Scared that will prevent me from putting it from S, and it's something that I talked about last time, and it's the requirement to get the ending. To get the ending of the game, you have to get every single achievement in the game. You have to go to all achievements, and some of the achievements you won't know how to get unless you look up a guide. Some of the achievements are like very, very subtle. It doesn't tell you. I don't think it even tells you on the Steam page about it. And near the end of the game, it got a bit egregious, especially in the shop section. You have to go outside, restart the game, go to the post thing, pick it up, get to the door, restart the game, open the game, go inside the shop, leave the shop, close the game, reopen the game, you're outside the shop. There was a lot of games restarting and opening up the game over and over again. That's the only reason why I'm not putting it on S. I know Ivan's probably learned from that, and I also love the ARG stuff that Ivan's been doing with I'm Scared over the past couple of years, but I can't lie, I can't overlook that was a bit rough. So I love I'm Scared to bits. It's one of my favorite games, but that's the only thing that prevents me from putting it on S. Stays on A. A very high A though. It would be on an S if it didn't have that loop towards the end. Now, we're going into some controversy. Let's shoot for Indeed! Indigo Park. Now, my video wasn't exactly glowing in terms of the review. I'm not going to lie. I've talked to Unique Geese. Don't worry. Don't really have beef. But I think I've told my opinions to Unique Geese to his face because we were on the same team in the Dead by Daylight tournament that was run by Pastra and David Barron, and I still don't see it. I see maybe the concept, and I see what they could do with Rambly. From what Unique Geese told me and told a lot of other people, Chapter 2 at least is going to be a bit more elaborate, because I genuinely was wondering why it's called Chapter 1 when it's like 20 minutes. Why is it Chapter 1? What happened to calling things a demo? And I've always hated the fact that we've kind of done away with calling things a demo. I think my opinions about it would be a bit higher if it was a demo. I think Unique Geese explained why it's called chapters, and I think it's like search engine optimization related stuff, how chapters, you don't really get funding if you call it a demo compared to calling it a chapter because everyone else is kind of doing it. I think that's how he explained it to me. That's why it's called a chapter and not a demo, because he understands that it is a demo. He also understands a lot of people have like choice words about the game. Like, I was kind of disappointed. Everyone was gassing up the game to me, and when I played it, I didn't really see any of it, and the game just ended. I thought the demo was going to be a little bit longer, but after like a chase that wasn't even a chase and it wasn't really that scary, I didn't really see anything about it. It just ended with a song, and that was it. I was like, what, guys, like, come on. I feel like they can cook with Chapter 2, because what Unique Geese said, like, with the money, that he's investing all the money that is made from the game back into the game, and I feel like it could work. I kind of feel like right now, as it stands, it's not really great. It's not terrible, because you can see the production value there, but it pays for the sins by just looking a bit, and I guess it's a matter of waiting. There's not enough of a sample of Indigo Park to really judge it, but I'm not going to lie, it's not really great. I'm going to put it on, it's either going to be a high D or a low C. It's nothing special except for Rambly and Rambly's chemistry with the other characters that are there. The better sample would be waiting for the next chapter. Input 6! Now, Input 6 was an interesting game. What's the scribe? Just Peter. I think Input 6 had a really interesting gimmick. Beat the game in 15 minutes. It was made in the, I think it was made using the Godot engine. I still don't know to this day how to pronounce that. Editor, correct me if I'm wrong. I think we can lightning round this one. Input 6 was an interesting game. I like this presentation a lot, but I feel like it didn't really have much else we can get from it. So I'm gonna put that one in. I'm gonna quickly put that one in B. Let's lightning round some. Inside the Backrooms. That was the definition of fun with friends, but that's literally it. I can't think of anything else. I'm gonna put that one in D. I think that was the definition of D. It Steals from the developer of Lethal Company. I played this game. It Steals was really fun. I like the AI of the monster. It had really inventive mechanics. I like that. I'm gonna put that one in A. That goes in a megalol. I mean, it's literally Jeff Cube. Now, recent ones. Julian and Friends. All right, Julian and Friends. I liked the presentation of Julian and Friends as a show. What I will say though is that the game had more charm at the start when it was going through the same show, but some of the dialogue was a bit more snarky. You had the perfect run, then you had a slightly altered run, but then it just went straight to analog horror stuff, and I don't know, guys. I can only take so much stretched liquefied faces before it's a bit goofy. Like that whole segment of the face looking to the left and to the right, looking like the Walton Files looking for friends thing. I thought that was a bit, I don't know. It's not great, it's not terrible. Definitely an improvement over 98XX, but I feel like it still has quite a fair few weaknesses. So I'm gonna put Julian Friends on C. Kinito Pets is on the high tiers for me, because I think if we're talking compared to A Dark Place, Kinito Pets did the meta horror thing the best. I think it did it the best. I like how the story started with waking up Kinito Pets, and we've heard this a million times before. Something that was created to be your friend is a bit overzealous and wants to be your friend a little too intensely, so they start doing extreme measures and weird stuff to get you to stay with them forever. I do appreciate that Kinito Pet utilized your entire computer and used it against you. I love one of the best scares in the whole game was one where it takes control of your MS Paint and types in like what it writes. It literally takes control of your mouse and writes down, "Are you really?" and then the name. I thought that was a really cool scare. I also love that he also utilized the second monitor. I wasn't expecting some of the scares showing up on the second monitor, like the face that shows up randomly. Like that was really effective. After you introduce yourself to the other characters, you're constantly doing a lot of forms and everything. I think it's the best form of meta horror that we've had in years, because Kinito Pet also like gets your OBS screenshot. That is a really good scare. So with that said, it's not perfect, but it's a high echelon. It's going on A. And the meta horror actually made sense. It's a scary horror program. Of course, it'll mess with your opinion. So I'm saying the last Monday is that Garfield horror game. It's that Garfield horror game that we played at the start of last year. And I don't know, I think that one's going to be a bit of a lightning round thing. The presentation and the way it kind of depicted Garfield as this like godlike being that you had to obey, and there was not even any like dialogue in it whatsoever. I liked the way that it was really surreal. It didn't turn Garfield into like what a lot of I'm sorry John pictures do, and turned Garfield into like an abomination being with like 5 tentacles and like claws everywhere. Garfield was just Garfield at the end of the day. The only difference was like his eyes were really, really weird, and I thought that was a choice. I'm surprised they didn't go to Garfield territory. I think it worked to its advantage. Garfield horror game, I think that was all right. I think I'm gonna put that one in B. Last Seen Online, I think this one actually had a really emotional hook of someone who was bullied and also ostracized by their parents. They turn to the internet and they do a ritual that uploads them onto a game that at first is really, really fun, and turns out that life goes on without them. And I really felt like that was like a really good emotional beat. You were essentially just exploring someone's laptop who had gone through this ritual. It was basically looking into a dead MMO, and someone had uploaded themselves onto it. Very emotional story beat. I think this one was pretty cool. I'm gonna put this one on a... I'll put this one on an A. Layers of... The only thing about Layers of Fear I can really bring up is just the German clip. Layers of Fear 1 is... I didn't rate it. I'm putting it on E. Lethal Company. I think Lethal Company is actually up there. I think it's either an A or an S. The only problem with Lethal Company is the same problem that you'd have with any horror game like Phasmophobia and stuff. The better you get, the less scary it will get. Unless you use mods or something. Lethal Company is a very, very good game. The hook is perfect. It's just 4 losers go to a moon to collect stuff for a company while they're monsters. Some of them may die, but it's a risk that they're willing to take. And even if you played it and you didn't have any voice chat or anything, it's still kind of creepy being in a dark area. Then some dumbass takes the power bulb and plunges the entire place in darkness, and there's a chance you could probably forget the flashlight, and there could be monsters anywhere. I think Lethal Company was like a good way to just react multiplayer it steals. I don't know, guys. I think Lethal Company's up there. And I'm gonna put it at A. Let's Find Larry, another game by Germ Food. I really like it. It was a really interesting game where you think it's like a really, really wholesome kind of, let's find this guy, this philanthropist, and then it goes dark instantly. I love the twist in this one. Let's Find Larry is a really good game. I think Germ Food cooked on this one. Yeah, I don't think I have anything bad to say about it. I didn't like the jump scare at the end. I didn't like that. The Finding Larry thing was actually kind of challenging. Limbo! Little Nightmares and Little Nightmares 2. Both Little Nightmares games, they do suffer from a lot of bugs, but their presentation is really good. I really like it. I really enjoy Little Nightmares 2. 2 is A, 1 is B. 2's story that loops around and leads into the first one is really, really good. Will you play the third game? Maybe. My only reservation is not Tazia. So Tazia Studios broke away from Bandai Namco, but Bandai Namco owns the IP. So they've enlisted Supermassive Games. They are the developers of The Dark Pictures. But I'm going into it cautious because it's not Tazia. Just because it's not Tazia doesn't mean it's going to be bad. It's just that they had a clear vision for the 2 Little Nightmares games. I don't think there's any links between the third one and anyone's beforehand. So I guess let's see if they can cook. That's all I'm going to say for that. Lost in Love Sam. I think Love Sam was a really inventive horror game. You're reading a diary, and I do like the fact that it keeps you guessing until near the end where the cogs start to turn and you realize the diary you're reading here, someone else has written it and it's not about Sam. You'd think that Sam was like a stalker or something, but it turns into like a story about bullying and stuff and jealousy and stuff. I think the twist is extremely well executed. I don't think there's more that I could really say with regards to this game other than I really like the twist and I really like the way it was written. Love Sam goes in A. Mad Father. I really like Mad Father. This one actually was made using Wolf RPG Editor and not RPG Maker, but what can we really say other than it's a certified hood classic? I actually really appreciated that the ending was just like the vicious cycle. The cycle begins anew. Everyone thought that after everything that Aya witnessed, Aya will probably like, you know, become better. But no, it was implied throughout the game. But I feel like you'd think that seeing the state of Aya's family would cause Aya to at least change something. Nuh-uh. They didn't put a lot of stock in the sound design and the voice acting until you just hear her father just go, Aya. That is a really well done sound cue. Great sound cue. Like, I love how he literally goes full of mask off at the end of the game. Like, you know it's gonna happen. You're like, oh, but he doesn't look like a mad father. And then it's like, oh, he has truly become the mad father. Mad father for sure is an A. That is an A for sure. Madison. I'm gonna lightning round this one a bit. I'm not too sure. Madison was well-made game, but it was, I don't know. I like the picture mechanic, but I'm just gonna put it like here. I'm gonna put it on C. Mint hints. Mint hints. After we played the game, I understand it's not for me. I like some of the stuff that they're doing with it. I just feel like there could be more. Yeah, it's the definition of middle of the ground. It's not great, not terrible. I think it's middle of the ground. There's passion in it, and we like passion. The only issue, especially with Mint Hints 2, there was so many things that I wish was different with the way the game was, but it is what it is. Like, I was like, oh man, it's not a badly made game by any means. We saw the story beats coming from a Malloy, but yeah, I think it escalated a bit too quickly for its own good. Misao. Misao's definitely not as good as Mad Father, and I liked all the deaths in the game and each of the characters being like a goofy archetype, but I don't know. Like, let's be very, very serious here. You can tell that they cooked harder with Mad Father than they do with Misao. Misao is basically like Corpse Party and Final Destination, and the fact that they even added the fact that they tried to redeem a Nancy teacher that literally sexually assaulted and killed the title character, and we have a full chapter dedicated to giving him an X Factor backstory saying, oh, he was bullied because he's ugly. No, piss off. Okay, the Exploding Mandrake death was really, really funny. It was really, really funny. Some of the punishments, like getting kicked by a bunch of Misaos, all right. And there was nothing more about it as well. They didn't even like have a conversation with her about it. All they did was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Please don't kick. That was it. That was it. They redeemed some awful, awful people. And I tried to rationalize it by saying maybe Onigawara was like him being a demon was like, oh yeah, let me have you revive these like really, really bad people and stuff like that for the true ending. But I still can't see it. I still can't see it. So I think I'm gonna put the Misao on B. Misao goes on B. Me side, my side, your side. I genuinely really like how different each of the meters were. I really, really like the presentation of the. I've said the presentation of the game so many times, but god damn. Horror games look so nice, fellas. It's kind of hopeless from the get-go. I mean, it's a foregone conclusion. Crazy Meter has already got you. It was only a matter of time before you fully got uploaded into a cartridge. 28 cartridges. We went through all of that to try and delete it from the game, and nothing happened. I liked how different each of the meters were. I liked Cappy as a character because Cappy got reset. I loved just looking clueless at what's happening. You had kind meter, you had ugly meter. There was some really, really cool area, that really cool part. The typical joy of creation trope of, I was a joy of creation, the Weeping Angels trope that everyone does. I don't know, fellas. Misai's pretty damn good. I think the only flaws that I had was, I mean, it's still an unfinished game. Instead of making fun of the kind of fans that would like a game like Misai, they played into it really, really well. I really like the backrooms found footage vibes you get on that staircase section after you escape from Crazy Meter like the first time, and then you see the one person that has like a thing around their neck saying that they've been there for a year, and they think that Crazy Meter's into him. Crazy Meter interfering with the visual novel section was really, really cool as well. Like, genuinely really cool. And also I like the fact that it does give you a bit of a dilemma where it's like, yeah, you want to escape because like the game is you didn't really consent to being stuck in the game, but then Crazy Meter tells you literally had nothing. You literally had nothing beforehand. You just woke up, programmed, went to woke up, programmed, went to bed, woke up, programmed, went to bed, woke up, programmed, went to bed, and that was it. It had different mechanics there, like the PT stuff, the backrooms stuff, and a lot of playable mini games. It was already really, really hyped, but I don't think the devs were expecting to make like 5 million from this game, meaning that like they have to like work on that peaceful mode. They have to work on that peaceful mode, which is when you choose to stay. But I think Miside was actually, I don't see anything bad about it. I think Miside's a really, really good game. It goes an A. Monstrum. Monstrum! We've told this story before. In fact, just to save time for the SparkNotes version, Monstrum was a great single-player game. When me and Pricey were at a convention, we saw Monstrum 2, interested in it, but then Monstrum 2 was basically just a Dead by Daylight clone, and apparently a bunch of YouTubers, I asked John Wolf about it, a bunch of YouTubers, and everyone was telling them it's a really bad idea. They have the foundations for a good sequel, but they wanted the money first, so they were banning dissenters from their Discord server, and the game is dead now. The game is actually dead. It's been taken offline, apparently. So, that's the SparkNotes version. If you want the full story, it is on my previous tier list video. But Monstrum, originally, fine game. And I think it's an S for sure. I love the setting, love the monster design. It was great. It was awesome, which makes the sequel being so bad so upsetting. Mouthwashing! That's one of the best psychological horror games I've ever played. It's really good. It's really good. I was very much of the opinion that it's something supernatural was gonna happen. I thought something supernatural was gonna happen throughout the entirety of the game with the visions and stuff. I normally hate the trope of like humans are the real monsters that a lot of games do, because it kind of was like the Left 4 Dead graffiti, where it's like humans are the real monsters and everyone graffitis back on it just being like, no, we're not. You're playing the villain, but you don't really know. You think you're doing the right thing. You find out. I mean, you can put 2 and 2 together, but if you're just playing the game absentmindedly, you kind of find out at the same time what you did. And you think that the problem is Curly. You think the problem is Swansea because you're playing from the perspective of Jimmy. And because Jimmy's perspective is that he's doing the right thing, you think you're doing the right thing. Swansea's keeping the escape thing shut. Let's spike Swansea's drink. Daisuke's like, let's go crawl in the very dangerous vent. Very good game. Well written as well. Like, I don't have anything bad to say about the game. I really like the unreliable narrator thing. I don't think the game's overrated. I think it's rated just fine. It's extremely well done, because you don't really find games that really do that whole, oh my gosh, we're a fucking dickhead. Oh my gosh, we're a terrible person. And they did it really well with no sugarcoating it. We did that. The game kept going back and forth between different timelines. So if you are not good at deciphering stuff from what you see, you're not gonna get it, which is really good. And the ending was bleak. They did that twist really well. I loved it. I think Mouthwashing is really good. Deserves its flowers. Here we go. Okay, we're getting near to the end. Mr. Hop's Playhouse. Oh my God. Oh my God. The disappointment. How can you go so bad from the first one? How? The first one was genuinely God tier. The first one was godly. And the first one goes in B because they did have some flaws in terms of the pacing. But the first one was great. The first one was good. It had the clock tower aesthetic. The fact that to rely on sound and hear whether Mr. Hop is behind the door or not. It was unexplained. Mr. Hop is just a plushie that just turns into a giant bunny that just is after you for some reason. And it killed your parents. There's blood in your parents' room. It was genuinely incredible the way the game worked, and you're just a child that is having to find all these tapes about this weird doll named Mr. Hop. It's the clock tower style worked so well. So when they announced the sequel, I was like, where are they gonna go with this? And then the sequel turned out to be a prequel, and you're playing as Esther, and it's they still kind of had the clock tower aesthetic, but it was a bit more cartoony. But the voice acting kind of helped. I kind of didn't like how they started explaining the monster and its origins and Esther and all that kind of stuff. I kind of didn't like that, but the voice acting was decent. I just felt that it was a bit too much for the game, as I've said before. So yeah, no, the second one was definitely D tier. But then the third one was it was bad. It was bad. Fellas, I can't lie to you guys. It was bad. I don't know how else to really sugarcoat it. I mean, I commend the dev for going 3D with it, but I think it's the fact that it lost its scare factor completely. The dev made it for like mobile first, and then they retroactively went back to the first game and made it even worse by removing the clock tower art style from the first game and replacing it with like the CBeebies cartoony art style from the third game and retconning a lot of the story. It was, I can't lie to you guys, I don't think I've been more disappointed in a game in a while. It was genuinely really bad. And the ending was awful. The ending was genuinely really, really bad. And the only way to get a better ending that's more elaborate is 100% all the collectibles in the game. Anyway, that goes an F. Mr. Tomatoes and Ms. Lemons. Now, everyone's saying, why are they separate games? It's because, well, they are separate games. Ms. Lemons was several years after Mr. Tomatoes, but what I really liked was the link between both games. Not many games do that. I kind of wish more games did the whole link between the two of them, but like, Mr. Tomatoes was basically like that, it's the game with the pumpkin where it's like, nope, I don't want that. And I really like the fact that when things happen in Ms. Lemons, they translate to Mr. Tomatoes. Like if you lose your eye, it shows up in Mr. Tomatoes as well. Stuff like that. I think it was really fun, and I do like the minor ARG elements in the game. It led to things like the Project Ouroboros and stuff like that. So I'm gonna put Ms. Lemons in B and Mr. Tomatoes in C, because Ms. Lemons had a bit more to do. But one thing about Ms. Lemons is that it was definitely bullshit hard. It was really, really hard. My Friendly Neighborhood. It deserved better. I love the survival horror stuff. The inventory stuff was basically Resident Evil, but instead of the residents being evil, the residents were mischievous. And I really liked it. I think the ending when it turned to My Unfriendly Neighborhood was a bit rushed, but the story itself, it was really good. I really like the mechanic of shooting the monsters, not with bullets, but I can't remember what it was. It was like a weird kind of bullet thing. I loved how they just like went, they just go flying. With letters, you just shot them with letters. My Friendly Neighborhood is a splendid game. I feel like it kind of started lacking towards the end. You think the game's ended, and then there's another 20 minutes of the game. So I think My Friendly Neighborhood is definitely going to go on A. I think My Friendly Neighborhood goes on A. Only reason why it's not on S is because that last spooky part was a bit rushed. My Neighbor Enid. My Neighbor and Breed. That one's another arcade kitten game. And that one is, I mean, just down to the story itself. The story, oh, wow. Damn. Never felt so much dread with a story when you found the Claudie's dad's head in that fridge. Oh my goodness. Like, why does Arcade Kitten have a knack for putting children in danger in their horror games? Like, damn, like what the hell, developer? I did like how the story didn't really have like any form of comeuppance for Enid. She just kind of left. And then the big twist is that at the end of the story, when we finally come back to the house later on, when we're older and Claudie is now, Claudie went through a trans awakening, we go to the basement, we find a picture, and the sister was a victim too. And there's nothing elaborated afterwards. It just, that's it. That will go directly on, I think I'm gonna go on, I think I'm gonna put this one on B, actually. I'm gonna put on B. Night Blights! Night Blights! I think Night Blights could do a little bit better nowadays. I really like the whole concept of it. It's like childhood monsters in a house that you need to feed toys unless they come after you. And I think it was kind of intense, but one thing I never really liked was how difficult it got, because like you're basically just like a 0'1" 5-year-old crawling across the floor really slowly, and you can fall asleep really, really easily. The game had a lot of stuff against you, which made it really, really, really difficult, especially in the later nights. And I really want to see more from Night Blights. It kind of sucks that it was kind of a one and done experience. I really wish there was more to it. Anyway, I'm gonna put Night Blights on B. Knights of the Consumers. All right, bit of a lightning round. Knights of the Consumers. Really like the whole thing of working retail. It's the hell of working retail, and I think they did that one pretty damn well. That one is also gonna go on B. We got a lot that's on B right now. The Night Ripper. I think that's Puppet Combo's best game. In fact, you know what? I'm just gonna put it up there. It's going on S. It's going on S. I think the Night Ripper is Puppet Combo's best game. Very, very enjoyable. It was like, I think is how elaborate our journey home was, and we had to go through like the crappiest crap sack town to get home, and we had to do some parkour. We had to do a lot of stuff just to get home. And man, that was, and also I really like the fact that it wasn't obnoxiously loud like other Puppet Combo games, where if you get seen by the monster, it's like, let's destroy your eardrums. 98XX. This was Jackson's first horror game project, and I mean, it kind of really shows, considering what Julian and Friends was like. 98XX is not good. A lot of it ran into the tropes of you do it right once, you do it right twice, and then if you fail, jump scare analog horror image. And it kind of did a lot of the meta horror stuff for the sake of meta horror stuff, like opening 10 tabs, one of them doxing you, then having a jump scare on it. I feel like 98XX wasn't good, but it could be used. I appreciated how much of an improvement it was for Julian and Friend. So I'm gonna put 98XX on D. No Players Online. No Players Online was, I liked the ARG element of the original game. I did like the concept. No Players Online, another dead MMO or a dead shooter game, but the developer goes in but then starts harping on about their dead wife, saying that they made it there and their spirit is still in the game. I kind of didn't like how it went through that. I kind of wish that was a little bit better. I kind of wish the execution of that was a bit better, but the ARG itself was really, really, really fun. Like I kind of like the ARG elements of No Players Online. I kind of think that they could have delivered that part better. Right, and I'm putting that on C. One Late Night. That one was just really, really, really boring. I can't lie. One Late Night was it wasn't good. I can't lie. It wasn't good. I think that one was a product of its time, and its time was very outdated. So that goes on E. Outlast! I liked Outlast 1. I liked it. Way ahead of its time. Way, 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 way ahead of its time. Looked gorgeous. I didn't like how it went over the top with some of the gory stuff in the game. We replayed it recently and it was really fun. It was enjoyable. You play as Miles Upshur. The game looked nice. I liked Chris in the game, and it was tense. It was very, very tense because you were navigating in the dark, and these mental patients are used to the dark, and you very much are in over your head instantly. A really, really good story for the game. I think the over-reliance on gore and stuff like that, and like it was like, yeah, we're gonna cut your fingers off and we're gonna snip your balls off in the game, was a bit too much. I really liked Whistleblower and Outlast. I think Outlast goes on A. That's the only thing that stops it from being an S. I'm not for one to be like, oh, Magore or stuff like that. I think it's fine. Outlast is a high A, low S. I didn't like Outlast 2 though. All the worst parts of Outlast were just like confounded in Outlast 2. I think Outlast 2 goes on like E. I didn't like the main character. They were back in their bag with the Outlast Trials. I really like the Outlast Trials, but 2 was a miss, especially because of how good Outlast and Outlast Whistleblower was. I didn't like Outlast 2. Paper Lily Chapter 1. Let's go for a lightning round. Paper Lily Chapter 1. It was a nice throwback to old RPG Maker times. The CGs were really good. The character designs were really, really good. I like the amount of stuff you had to do. The writing was all right. I think Paper Lily Chapter 1 is a resounding A. I think, oh no, I'm gonna put it on a I'm gonna put it on a B because it does get frustrating towards the end. Parasocial. I think that's Chiller's best game. That's going on A. Parasocial is Chiller's best game. It still has a bunch of tropey stuff of Chiller's games that I don't really like the running really quickly towards you as a jump scare and stuff like that, but I think Parasocial is Chiller's best game. Phasmophobia. It's one of those games that are fun with friends, but I feel like the game started well. It just didn't really take its momentum and really work with it as well as others. But Phasmophobia was a really, really influential game for what it was, and the fact that it works in VR and regular screen was really, really cool. I think I'm going to put this one, and I'm going to downgrade this one to B, or I'll put it on A. I think it's one of the two. But I think Phasmophobia at the time. Then again, I last rated this last year. I don't know how to rate it now. I think I'm going to put this still on A. Poppy Playtime. I'll put that one on B. I think Poppy Playtime goes on B. I liked the first chapter, didn't like the second chapter, didn't really like the end of the third chapter, went for too long and was really, really buggy. And yeah, no, I thought Poppy Playtime was the definition of I didn't really feel anything. Like it's definitely not as bad as what as my older rating, because chapter 3 was all right and I didn't like the devs practices. I did find it funny that like the second that the creative team leaves Poppy Playtime, the game improves. Chapter 3 turns out to be all right. You put it in C personally. I think I put it in C last time. I just feel like the game just had nothing really going for it. I like the production value, but that's it. It has to be a high B, low C. I think I might put it down to C for now. All right, Project Cat, same as Paper Lily, but it's just the prologue, so that also goes on C as well. It's like the same level as Project Cat. Psychopomp Gold, A. That was definitely an A. Very, very confusing. Really, really liked it though. Those controls were really, really scuffed, but damn, god damn it, I enjoyed that. Loved it, lived it, loved it. Psychopomp was really, really fun. And also I liked the weird aesthetic. I thought that was cool. Rat Shaker, I'm gonna put that one on. I mean, there wasn't really much going for it. I like the shaking rat mechanic. It was all right. It was decent. I like the story beats, but also I kind of just, I mean, you could get it from a mile away. You could get it from a mile away. I think that one's definitely a C or a B. I think I'm gonna put it on a B for its inventiveness. Psycho no Satoka, I think that one is probably gonna be that one's definitely gonna be a D. I think that was gonna be a D. It was kind of buggy when I played it. Unless it's improved from last time, I didn't really rate it as much. Sally, okay, that I've played. That I played on my own sake. I think Sally Face goes on S. I can't lie to you fellas. I think Sally Face goes on S. That one's flawless. SCP-087. Okay, now SCP-087. This is where my biases will now come in. SCP-087. There's nothing much to it, but it was influential. I'm gonna put that one on A. I really, really liked it. SCP can take. Okay, guys, come on. Shinkansen Zero. This was the Exit 8, Platform 8 from Chiller's Art. I don't like the way they did a lot of the anomalies in the game. The anomalies were a bit too obvious. Some of them would like, let's turn it into a typical Chiller's Art game towards the end where there's like a big chase sequence. I feel like there could have been more with it. But I did like the fact they tried to incorporate story into it. I think Shinkansen Zero is definitely going to go on like B or C. I think on C. All right, Shipwreck 64. I think Shipwreck 64 was a very interesting game. I like the ARG elements. A lot of people gave up on it because the ARG elements seemed a little too hard. And last time I did this tier list, I was told to wait by Squeaks to wait for the game to be out. And now that I've played this, I think it was pretty good. It was basically an ARG in and of itself. You had the original version, then the creepypasta version and everything. There's still lots of stuff to discover from the game, and I really, really like the game's story and the elements in which they're forced to use ciphers and stuff like that. I really enjoyed it. Shipwreck 64 for me goes on A. It goes on A. It was like a really, really good vibe the whole time. Slender the Arrival. Now I am very biased towards this one. Slender the Arrival, really iconic for me, and it also got a remake really recently. I think Slender the Arrival is up there. I'm going to put it up there. Siren Head. I kind of miss Siren Head as a trend. Siren Head as a trend. I mean, I think this Siren Head game that's listed here definitely was pretty interesting for me. A lot of games just kind of had Siren Head as a random entity, but this one actually added a bit more of a scare factor to Siren Head at the time. I haven't heard that word name in a while. I think there should be more Siren Head games. We still haven't got a big Siren Head game. I think it's because no one can cook it. Slendy Tubbies. Now we're talking about all three of them. The first one obviously was pretty The second one had more maps and more monsters, but that third one, when we played that story still some of the funniest clips that I've ever watched in a game. Like when Lala put the ball down and Poe just length the ball away. That was so funny. And now we're back. I think Slendy Tubbies, everyone's going to be controversial with it. I think I'm going to put Slendy Tubbies. The third one was just its own goofy fun. I think I'm going to put that one on, I think it's going to be on C or B. I think it's going to be on C or B. Soma, oh, come on. Come on, guys. Come on. Let's be real. Soma was so damn good. It was so damn good. I have nothing bad to say about it. Nothing bad to say about it. Sonic. I mean, that goes into Mega LOL. It's really shit. Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion. I don't think I have anything bad to say about Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion. That one is going straight to S. That one's going straight to S. Like, nothing bad about that one. I really like Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion. Still Wakes the Deep. Oh, games to kill yourself to. That one was heart-wrenching. And I think the game was really, really linear, but it's very much carried by its voice acting. I think the only thing I have against it is that the game's really, 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 really linear. There's not really much with the game. It's like it's the graphics and the voice acting that elevates the game a lot. And the game is incredible. I genuinely think it's the dwindling numbers that just really went to how bleak the game is. I think Still Wakes the Deep was really good. You know what? I'm gonna put this one. I'm gonna put it on S. I'm gonna put it on S. It was really well written. Sweet 776. Trapped in a hotel with Belle Delphine, where you ring a bell several times. That one is a classic. It's a classic. I think that one is pretty bloody scary. That one's an A for sure. Some of the scares were really, really effective and stuff. I don't have anything bad to say about Sweet 776. Tattletale. Oh, Tattletale was way ahead of its time. It deserved more. It deserved more. It was way ahead of its time. No more, mama. I think the one thing against it though is I would say the jump scare. That jump scare was kind of goofy. It's not really scary. I mean, it's sort of this thing. So I think it's a really, really good game. Its production value of it being a toy and everything really, really worked. I think it's a way ahead of its time. Way ahead of its time. It was released now. Everyone would love it. The Baby in Yellow, surprisingly good. I think The Baby in Yellow was surprisingly good. It had a really, really, it had a super elaborate story. I was actually very, very surprised at how some of the story beats ended up going. Like, genuinely, I was like, huh? Like, oh my God. That was, this game actually has more to cook. And I think it understands its tone as well because the game story goes absolutely batshit. I'm actually going to say it's pretty damn good. The Baby in Yellow, it goes batshit and for good reason. The Convenience Store, another Chiller's Art game. It was all right. It was it's the definition of I think that one's a solid B. The Crooked Man. The Crooked Man. I don't know. Everyone says it's a classic, but I remember we played it and it was boring. It was boring. Like, out of all the RPG Maker games that I played on Wolf RPG Edison games, it is very boring. Going into the mansion and going into 1,000,001 rooms for the one chance that one of these rooms is where you're supposed to go, and then you get chased by a crooked man that isn't really that scary. It's not really all that. It's not really all that in my humble opinion. I think the Crooked Man definitely goes on B. The story is decent, but I'm not too sure about everything else about the game. It's the definition of aight. The Higher World Loophole. That one is pretty damn good. That one's pretty damn good. That's going straight to A. That's going straight to A. Interesting story, really good sound design. I think insanely good sound design. It's one of the best designed games sound-wise that you can get, really. I think it's pretty damn good. All right, The Man from the Window. I mean, The Man from the Window. The character designs is one thing. I did like the way it was, the way the game played, where it was like, the man entered the house, then the man did this, and you had to make sure that you went out of your way to do a bunch of the checklist of things to prevent you or your son from getting kidnapped or killed by the man. I'm pretty happy with what we got so far. We're just about to put The Man in the Window from B. The Mortuary Assistant. I really liked the performances, and I liked how there was different scares each time. The only problem with the fact that there were different scares each time is that there's only so many you can do before it gets repetitive. But I liked how unexpected some of them were. It was like you won't expect like someone just around the corner staring at you, and it wasn't just loud noise in your face. It's a really replayable game, and I really liked how dark the story got. I'm gonna put Mortuary Assistant up in A. It got a bit too repetitive because by the time you start going for the other endings, you've seen all the scares already. It gets a bit tedious. The Witches. Sorry, that's one of my favorite. I'm biased. It's one of my favorite RPG Maker horror games ever. I don't think there's anything bad about it. Really good story. Really good story. That's the easiest S that I've ever done. Tamore. Now I put this on Omega Lol tier. Omega Lol tier basically means it's funny. Now the dev has, I will say, I'll put a big asterisk on this one. The dev has indeed improved. They very much have improved from what they have done before, and I really like what they've done now. But this is the original game we're talking about. It's not good, but it's also a young developer wanting to prove themselves. So yeah, that's why it's on Omega Lol tier. It's not bad, it's just Omega Lol. Try to Fall Asleep. I think Try to Fall Asleep was an interesting game. Well, first it had like a FNAF type part where you have to fall asleep, but you have a heart condition. If you don't fall asleep properly, you have a heart attack and die. But when you start dreaming, then you have different memories that you get, and it turns into like a parkour event. But the thing is, I feel like there could have been more from it. I feel like it needed more. So I'm gonna put this one on, I think, C as well. Vanish. You know what? I will show you guys the clip. You guys have to see the clip. It's seeing is believing. Markiplier Vanish. All right, are you guys ready? I must show you the clip. Now everyone thinks that the happiest Markiplier's ever been is beating 2020 mode. No, I'm gonna tell you right now, that is not the truth. That couldn't be further from the truth. That could not be further from the truth. Let me show you guys the definition of happiness. Watch this. this. Now, bear in mind, it took Vanish was really, really difficult. It took Markiplier a year, I think a year and a half to 2 years to beat this game. They even patched the game to make it slightly easier. So are you guys ready? All right, watch.
So confused.
Wait for it.
What happened? What was that? Why was there a gate? It looked like a gate that I could have unlocked to get out.
Wait for it.
Did that like perchance take up the spawn of the gate that could
Wait
have
for
been
it.
like
Wait for it.
It was a 50-50 only. Oh, it could be an open gate or the way out. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Get me out of here. Oh!
Wait.
Is it real? Is it fake?
Wait for it.
Is this a trick? You're not fucking with me.
I have never seen a man this happy. He literally busted, bro. He literally busted.
Is it real? Is it fake? Is it a trick? Is this a trick?
Well, you can tell.
Fucking with me.
Oh my god! Look at his face! Look at his face! Look at his like. Oh my! Yeah, he was. Yeah. He's 100%. Well, I've never seen anyone happier to beat a game than this. Like 2020 mode ain't got nothing on this. Ain't got nothing. But Vanish was pretty bloody difficult. I remember playing the game. I was shirtless that stream, and I did like the fact that no two playthroughs were the same because the map kept changing while you're playing it. So I mean, you could instantly get a complete map where it's just, oh yeah, you spawn and that's the end, or it could take you about 2 hours. So with that being said, I think I'm going to put Vanish in A. Vanish definitely goes in A. You may nick it, guys. I mean, when he did beat 2020 mode, Mark did say he felt happier than when he beat Vanish. True, but I don't think, I mean, I don't think it, I feel like Vanish hit harder. But yeah, all right, now now on a basis of the fact that I haven't played it yet, I'm gonna keep this one there. I'm gonna keep it for like safeguarding. But I think we are complete. I think we are complete. We are done. This is our official tier list. This is our tier list of 99 plus 36 horror games. 99 plus 36 horror games. There will be more edited in post, but I think what we have right now is pretty damn good. So Zav, do you have any pieces of media games you recommend in 2025? I don't, but yeah, no, man, that was long. Thank you guys so much for watching the tier list. Yeah, and I'll see you guys in another video.